Why does this always happen to me? Thought 12-year-old Naruto Uzumaki as he was running towards the Chunin exams arena, with a stampede of angry bulls chasing after him. The reason being that today was the day of the Chunin exam finals, with Naruto having spent the entire month break training to defeat his opponent Neji Hyuga. Though personally, Naruto didn't care about becoming Chunin as much as keeping his promise to beat Neji into the ground for what he did to Hinata. Unfortunately, when the time came for the finals, Naruto had no idea where he was even supposed to go. He'd originally believed that they'd take place in the tower in the Forest of Death, but when he got to the forest he didn't see anyone else around, making him realize that the finals would take place somewhere else. It was only after he saw fireworks going off that's when he realized where the finals were taking place, making the Uzumaki take off running to the arena. However, he was still too far away to make it in time. Luckily though, he ran into Konohamaru, who told him about a shortcut to the arena, only to find it's been closed up. Then another shortcut through the sewers, but this ended even worse as they ended up on the other side of the village, with Naruto having been close to beating Konohamaru for potentially making him late, only being stopped when he suggested he ride one of the daimyo's bulls to the arena. This ended badly when the bull threw him off and all of them began chasing the whiskered blonde, which lead Naruto to his current predicament of not only having to run all the way to the arena, but avoid being trampled as well. Having attempted to distract them with his shadow clones, only to end up attracting even more of them, leading to them simply running to the arena. I'm almost there, thought Naruto, seeing they were nearly at the arena. Only it seemed that luck really wasn't on his side today, as Naruto yelped when his foot got caught on a crack in the ground, sending him falling face first into the ground. The Uzumaki shouting and cursing as the stampede trampled all over him. Ow. Fuck. Damn it. Kami. Why? Naruto shouted as the bulls trampled him, panting as they finally stopped and scattered, allowing the Jinchuriki to get up. I fucking hate bulls, muttered Naruto, wincing as he stood up before he began limping his way towards the arena, while feeling his healing factor began doing its work. The guards at the entrance not even trying to stop him as he entered the arena, with Naruto mentally cursing at the time wasted and the fact no one could even tell him where the damn arena was. Because Kakashi-sensei apparently couldn't take 5 damn seconds to tell me before pushing me onto the closet pervert, who also didn't tell me. Then that perverted bastard Jiraiya, who just disappeared after pushing me off a cliff, he clearly couldn't tell me either. And it's not like anyone else could have done me a damn favor and tell me either. Naruto thought, cursing that no one tried helping him, but was relieved when he entered the arena to see the proctor, Genma Shiranui, and Neji inside, the latter wearing an annoying smug smirk that Naruto couldn't wait to knock off his face. Naruto Uzumaki, I'm here for my match, said Naruto looking at Genma, who didn't look amused about Naruto's sudden entrance. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I'm here for my match, Naruto said, scowling when he saw Neji's smirk widened. He couldn't wait to knock that expression off his face. Yeah, you arrived for your match, which was supposed to start 2 minutes ago. Sorry kid, but you've been disqualified, Genma said, causing Naruto looking at him in shock. But I tried getting here, but I didn't know where the arena was and no one told me where it was. Hell, I was even trampled on the way here, Naruto said, hoping to get the proctor to change his mind and let him fight. Genma though, simply shook his head. Sorry, but those are the rules. You either show up on time or you'll be disqualified. If you didn't know where the arena was, then you should have taken the time to find it during the month break, said Genma, not maliciously, but simply stating facts. Personally, Genma didn't have a problem with Naruto being the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, but those were the rules and they couldn't make exceptions. Old man, come on please, Naruto said, looking up at the cage booth, hoping that the Hokage would let him fight to keep his promise. Instead, the Hokage shook his head, just like Genma did. I'm sorry Naruto, but you are disqualified from fighting, Sarutobi said, knowing they couldn't make exceptions for anyone, no matter who they were. Naruto looked down at the ground angry and sad that he wasn't being allowed to fight, just because he was late by a few minutes. HMPH, just as fate predicted, once a failure always a failure. But look at it this way, at least you won't have to suffer the humiliation of losing, Neji said mockingly. Clenching his fists in anger, Naruto wanted nothing more than to just punch Neji in his smug face, but knew if he did, he'd likely just get in trouble. So wordlessly, Naruto left the arena and went up to the stands, sitting dejectedly by the other rookies. "Sorry I couldn't keep my promise, Hinata," Naruto muttered dejectedly to the shy Hyuga, saddened that he failed to keep his promise. Aye, it's alright, really. Why you, did why you're best and Naruto-kun. That's what's important, said Hinata, trying to cheer up her crush, while hesitantly putting a hand on his shoulder, forcing herself to not pass out. Hey, look at it this way, Naruto. Next time we enter the exams, you'll be even more prepared. Sakura added, hoping to make her teammate feel better. Yeah, look at it this way, you'll be more prepared next time you enter. Added Choji while eating his chips, with Naruto simply sighing and shaking his head. I honestly don't even care about getting promoted, I'm upset that I won't be able to keep my promise, something I'll miss out on entirely if Neji's promoted. Said Naruto, knowing if Neji's promoted to Chunin, he'll never be able to fulfill his promise. As while he may act rashly most of the time, even he knows it wouldn't be good for his career if he picked a fight with a superior officer. Especially since Neji would likely be more than happy to see him kicked out of the forces and look for an excuse to do so. Alright, the next match between Sasuke Uchiha and Sabaku no Gaara shall now begin. Will both fighters please enter the arena? Genma called out, as the crowd chatting excitedly eager to see the last Uchiha fighting, since this was the only fight that most of them wanted to see anyway. Gaara appeared in a swirl of sand, while Sasuke was nowhere to be seen. Well, at least Sasuke's disqualified too, Naruto stated, finding a small comfort in his other teammate not being able to fight either. Hey, don't be happy that Sasuke's not going to be able to compete, said Ino, looking at the Uzumaki with narrowed eyes along with Sakura. Yeah, he's our teammate Naruto, you should want him to get the chance to compete. Sakura added, also not happy he'd want Sasuke to be disqualified, only for Naruto to look at them with an unamused expression. I'll admit that it's mean to hope that he'll be disqualified. But ever since Team 7, I've been stuck in Sasuke's shadow. He was the one that actually managed to fight Kakashi-sensei, as well as the reason we even passed by offering me food with you then doing the same, Sakura. Then on the mission to Wave, he's the one that managed to stop the Demon Brothers, and I've even heard rumors that he's getting the credit for Haku's and Zabuza's deaths, despite how that's not what happened. I'm the one who beat Haku before she was killed by Kakashi, then Zabuza died taking out Gato and most of his men, while he was tired and couldn't even use his arm. Yet no one seems to have tried correcting what really happened, and I doubt anyone would believe me anyway. Naruto said, much to the shock of the other genin while Sakura winced at his words. Since she had heard about the rumors and knew she could have corrected them, but she didn't. Having thought Sasuke would like people praising him rather than learning how he was left unconscious. As for the bell test, Sakura also felt guilty about that since she'd only offered Naruto food because Sasuke did first. And it's only gotten worse since the Chunin exams started and when we met those Suna genin, where everyone kept treating Sasuke as some ultimate ninja and only focusing on him. Kakashi even took him off for special training alone, while pushing me onto some closet pervert, only for him to be knocked out by some other perverted creep peeping in the hot springs. I tried getting him to train me instead, but he barely even gave me a glance. I only got the bastard to pay attention by using my sexy jutsu, but even then I doubt he really paid attention. Only even agreeing to train me if I stayed like that the entire time. Said Naruto with a scowl, while the genin were really shocked at this, along with disgusted and concerned. Dude, that's fucked up. Kiba said in disgust that he actually had to stay transformed as a girl just to be trained. I think I'm gonna be sick, muttered Choji as he turned green and pale. Na Naruto-kun, said Hinata in horror and shock, along with even some anger it happened to her crush. All of them being disgusted and concerned that Naruto had been molested by this creep just to be trained, with the way he worded it, with Sakura looking physically sick and horrified. Was I really that bad of a teammate? Thought Sakura looking back on all their time together since Team 7 formed, the Pinkett honestly hating herself at realizing just how little she actually tried supporting Naruto. Only ever supporting and helping Sasuke when she could, while hitting Naruto over the littlest of things, most of the time is just him being nice. I'll try to be better. After the finals, I'll make sure to be a better teammate. Sakura thought while shaking her head, swearing to make it up to Naruto and be a better teammate. So sorry, but I hope that for once things don't go Sasuke's way and he's disqualified too, said Naruto crossing his arms, as Genma looked around for any sign of Sasuke. Would Sasuke Uchiha please enter the arena? Genma said, looking around for the Uchiha, but didn't see him anywhere. Last call for Sasuke Uchiha. If he does not enter the arena now, he will be disqualified, said Genma, ignoring the protests from the crowd at disqualifying their precious Uchiha, something that made him scoff at the hypocrisy. Seriously, if the Uchiha massacre never happened, they would have treated Sasuke only slightly better than Naruto at best. Genma thought while shaking his head in disgust. Once again, there was no sign of Sasuke, making Genma look up to the cage booth at the Hokage for confirmation at the disqualification. Cage booth. While within the cage booth, Hiruzen was about to give the confirmation to disqualify Sasuke, only to be stopped by Rasa. If I may Hokage Dono, why don't you simply move Sasuke's fight to last place? After all, everyone here is eager to see the fight between the Uchiha and my son. The Cage said, causing Hiruzen to look at his fellow Cage with a frown. I'm sorry Cage Dono, but the rules cannot be broken for anyone, not even the Uchiha or your son. Sasuke will disqualified, stated the Hokage, while the Cage gritting his teeth beneath his veil. Perhaps, but many clientele have arrived specifically for the last Uchiha's match. I doubt many of them will be happy to learn it will be cancelled. And from what I've heard, he's being trained by Kakashi Hatake, someone who has a reputation for being late, said Rasa, with the Hokage shaking his head. My decision remains. Allowing Sasuke to compete would also simply send the message that I'll allow such tardiness from my subordinates. Sarutobi retorted as it'd also send a bad message that he allows his ninja to show up late. Damn you Sarutobi, even when you don't know it, you're still a thorn in my side, thought Orochimaru, disguised as the Cage, annoyed that his former teacher could still get in his way even without knowing it. He wanted to see how far Sasuke has come since their encounter in the forest, and branding him with a curse seal. A compromise then. Sasuke Uchiha will be allowed to fight, but he cannot be allowed to be promoted to Chunin. This way he's punished for arriving late and the people still get to see their prized fight, said Rasa, causing Sarutobi to frown at this, while knowing it would appease the crowd to still see Sasuke fight. Fine. Sasuke can fight, but he will not be allowed to advance in rank, Sarutobi said, before turning to one of his Anbu guards and whispered to them. Arena. Genma watched as an Anbu appeared beside him and whispered in his ear, making the Tokubetsu Jonin sigh at what the decision was. This isn't going to end good, I just know it, thought Genma, given how they literally just disqualified Naruto for being late, yet now they're letting Sasuke still compete for doing the same thing. The fight between Sasuke Uchiha and Gaara has been pushed to the end of the first round, however due to Sasuke's inability to appear on time, he will not be allowed to be promoted to Chunin, Genma announced. Most of the crowd seemed to be appeased by this, though there were those that felt he should still become a Chunin regardless. Though some of the crowd weren't pleased by this, namely the rookies and their teachers. That doesn't seem fair, Sasuke getting a free pass when Naruto was just disqualified, Ino said with a frown, unable to be happy her crush can compete after everything Naruto just said. No kidding, said Kiba, frowning as well, with Akamaru barking in agreement. That certainly didn't take long, Asuma muttered while shaking his head at what his father just did. This isn't going to end well, stated Kurenai, knowing it'll reflect badly on Konoha if their leader is so quick to change his mind like that. Tisk, of course the Uchiha is given special privileges, how expected, Neji thought, as he scoffed in disgust at the favoritism. Neji already knew Naruto would either lose or be disqualified, as decided by fate. The fact that the Uchiha was still being allowed to fight not only showed the Hokage was playing favorites but only delaying the Uchiha's fated death. After all, if Lee, someone that Neji would only silently and reluctantly admit was superior to him in pure taijutsu, couldn't defeat Gaara, Then he had little doubt that the Uchiha will be little more than a red stain at the end of his match. Even Temari and Kankuro were frowning at the blatant show of favoritism, knowing a leader should never play favorites with their subordinates. Their own father, the Kazekage, never showed favoritism to them, his own children. And yet the Hokage was doing just that, right after saying there were no exceptions to the rules. While Sakura and Hinata looked at Naruto in concern, only to see the Uzumaki definitely didn't look happy at the Sandame's decision. With Naruto looking angered and betrayed at what he just heard, not believing the old man would do that. "Are you fucking kidding me?" Naruto shouted, while jumping into the arena before anyone could stop him and glared up at the cage booth. "Why is Sasuke getting a free pass, while I get disqualified? I already said I didn't know where the arena was, what's Sasuke's excuse?" Naruto demanded. Genma didn't move to get Naruto out of the arena, knowing the kid was in the right to get angry. "Naruto, you should have known where the arena to begin with, if you didn't then you should have asked your Jonin-sensei," Sarutobi said, while Naruto growled as his eyes flashed between red and blue. "I would have, except Kakashi ditched me for that closet pervert Ebisu to go train Sasuke," Naruto retorted. "Then you should have asked Ebisu or even one of the other Jonin where the arena was," stated the Hokage, causing Naruto to glare at him in hatred. "Well, I just thought that the finals would be held in the same place as the preliminaries, since you never said anything about another arena. And even if I hadn't assumed where the finals would be held, you really think that anyone else would tell me the real location?" Naruto demanded. That made the Hokage wince, knowing Naruto was referring to the Kyuubi and the bias the villagers had against him for it. Why don't you just say the real reason Sasuke gets to participate and I don't?" Naruto said. "You were late, that is said the Hokage, only to be silenced when Naruto jumped up the arena and into the cage booth, glaring at him with red slitted eyes. "Bullshit. You know it, I know it, everyone fucking here knows it. If that was true, Sasuke would have been disqualified too. But he wasn't. And why? Just because he has some special last name and fancy fucking eyes. Exclamation mark. That seems to be why everyone's so eager to be around him. First when he had to point out the genjutsu during the first exam, just to show off to everyone that he spotted it when no one else could, then when bushy brows wanted to fight him while just brushing me aside. Then in the Forest of Death it was still Sasuke, Sasuke, Sasuke. While I was eaten by a giant fucking snake, and even after I saved him and stopped him from giving up our scroll, I was still brushed aside by that freaky snake lady guy, after having some stupid seal put on me. Then during the month break, Kakashi just brushed me off while taking Sasuke off for special training, pushing me onto some closet pervert, and then was knocked out another perverted creep who was peeping in the hot spring. Then the bastard tried brushing me off too when I tried getting him to take over my training, only paying attention after I had to transform into a girl. Even then he only agreed if I stayed like that the entire time, not like it did much good anyway since he paid more attention to what I looked like. Then the creep just disappeared after pushing me off a cliff when I wouldn't do what he wanted," Naruto shouted before panting heavily as he ended his rant. With Sarutobi and Orochimaru both feeling annoyed at the end of the rant, knowing he is talking about Jiraiya as the perverted creep. And despite how Naruto worded it, they knew he hadn't been molested by the Toad Sage. Unfortunately, it seemed not everyone sees this, thought Hiruzen, seeing how most of the audience looked disgusted or sick, believing Naruto had actually been molested. "Once again you've embarrassed not just yourself, but the rest of us as well, Jiraiya," thought Orochimaru in annoyance at his former teammate, wondering how he's even survived this long and not be brutally murdered by angry women. Not helped that the Sound 4 were currently giving him looks, the Snake Sanin especially, seeing Tayuya's look that just screamed, "What the fuck kind of teammate did you have? And you know what else, I fucking quit," yelled Naruto, tearing off his headband and throwing it at the Hokage's feet before jumping out of the cage booth in the arena. "Should we go after him, Hokage-sama?" an Anbu asked, looking at Hiruzen, who shook his head while rubbing his temples. "No, let him go. Naruto's always been an emotional person and I doubt we should take his claims seriously. Just let him cool off for a while, and after the exams are over, bring him to my office. And bring me Kakashi and Jiraiya, let them know I'll be having words with them on their lack of action regarding the issues with his team and the latter's training of Naruto," said Sarutobi before he stood up and addressed the audience, announcing they'll be taking a break before resuming the matches, wanting everyone to take the chance to settle down and gather their emotions. The Sandaime being unaware that the disguised Orochimaru seemed particularly giddy with this turn of events. That not only has Naruto's outburst cast Konoha in a bad light, but the fact he actually quit as a ninja. And knowing a certain Warhawk, it'll be made permanent soon enough, is well cementing Naruto's disillusionment of Konoha. Orochimaru thought, knowing Danzo wouldn't care if Naruto was just being emotional or not, the only thing he'll see is the weapon betraying Konoha and needs to be dealt with. Before the Sannin motioning to Yuya to come closer, with the disguised redhead doing so. To Yuya, go find where Naruto is, and when Danzo's Anbu arrive to detain or kill him, make sure they die instead. And don't worry about the barrier, Sakin and Ukin will be able to handle it with their Kekkei Genkei, should you not make it back in time," said Orochimaru. "Right, I'll make sure the mask fuckers are put in the ground," replied to Yuya before shunshining away, with Orochimaru sitting back in his seat with a smirk behind his veil, knowing this is turning out better than he expected. With Naruto. Meanwhile, Naruto had gone to Training Ground 7, venting his frustration and anger by tearing it apart. Drawing on some of the Kyuubi's chakra as he did so, making him even stronger as he ripped apart trees, bushes, and the ground, along with throwing kunai with explosive tags everywhere. The Uzumaki growling as he threw another kunai at the training post he'd been tied to during the bell test, relishing in watching it be blown into pieces. Looking around at the now destroyed training ground, Naruto sat down against one of the few trees still standing, taking a moment to cool down. The whiskered blonde sighing as he looked up at the sky. Maybe that was a bit too hasty, quitting like that and blowing up in front of everyone. I should probably go back and apologize to the old man, thought Naruto, wondering if he'd been acting too rashly in shouting like that and then quitting. Though Naruto was forced to jump out of the way when suddenly 10 Anbu appeared with tantos drawn, all of which would have impaled him if he hadn't gotten out of the way. "What the hell? Why did you?" Naruto shouted, shocked and angry at suddenly being attacked by Anbu, before he was forced to jump back when they charged him again, all seemingly with the intent to kill or cripple him. "Okay assholes, you asked for it, Shadow Clone Jutsu," said Naruto, creating dozens of clones that all rushed towards the Anbu, who began cutting down the clones without hesitation. Pulling out some smoke bombs, Naruto threw them at the Anbu, exploding into a large cloud of smoke, before pulling out more kunai with explosive tags and throwing them into the smoke. Making a hand sign, the Uzumaki detonated the tags, triggering several explosions that blew away the smoke and hopefully the Anbu as well. Only for his eyes to widen when the Anbu charged out of the smoke towards him, with Naruto now drawing on some of the Kyuubi's chakra again, allowing him to move out of the way, managing to slam his foot into an Anbu's head, ducking under a slash from another and quickly punched them in the chest. Before Naruto gritted his teeth when one of the Anbu managed to stab him in the side, jumping away again before they could stab him too deeply. The Jinchuriki gasping in pain when one of the Anbu attacked him from behind, smashing their foot into his back, sending him flying back towards the others. Naruto just barely avoiding getting impaled again by using a quick substitution, only to find himself constantly having to move as the Anbu kept attacking him from all around, making him start to panic that they were actually going to kill him. Thankfully, it seemed his luck was starting to improve as the Anbu suddenly all grabbed their heads, with them all hearing flute music playing. "What the, is that some kind of jutsu?" thought Naruto in confusion at the Anbu suddenly stopping in attacking him before his eyes widened in shock when 3 hulking behemoths appeared. With one wielding a club, which it used to crush 2 of the Anbu into paste, the second with claw-like weapons attached to its hands stabbing 2 more Anbu. And the third didn't have a weapon, instead simply stepping on the Anbu. Naruto not expecting their sudden appearance or that they were helping him, before spotting Yuya on a tree branch playing her flute. The redhead stopping briefly to look at him in annoyance that he's not doing anything, while her doki were killing the root Anbu. "Don't just stand there, shithead. Hurry up and kill the fuckers," Yuya said before resuming her playing to disorient the Anbu with her genjutsu. "Alright," said Naruto before pulling out more kunai with explosive tags and throwing them all at the remaining Anbu, this time succeeding in blowing them up. Seeing all the Anbu were now dead, Tayuya ended her genjutsu while dismissing her doki before jumping down and approaching Naruto, who looked at her warily. Given while she may have helped him, he had also just been attacked by Anbu only for her to then show up. Thanks for the help. But who are you exactly and what are you doing here? Naruto asked, not seeing any headband on her, so he wasn't sure if she was affiliated with another village. The name's Tayuya, I'm a mercenary ninja. As for what I'm doing in this shithole, I came here to watch the Chunin exams, check out the competition from different villages, maybe find some work. Then I saw your little meltdown in front of everyone, shithead. Said Tayuya with a smirk, while Naruto winced in shame and embarrassment. Oh, alright. Sorry, about that probably ruined the finals for you, along with everyone else. Naruto said, having not thought how his outburst would be seen by everyone, only angry at the time that the Hokage was still letting Sasuke compete, only for Tayuya to wave it off. Don't be, if anything I'm actually impressed, I doubt many have the balls to actually call a cage out on their bullshit. Even better that you then quit, telling them all where they could shove it, and with these fuckers it's probably best that you did and should probably ditch this dump as soon as you can. Tayuya said, not lying as she had been impressed with how Naruto didn't just sit back like anyone else would have and called the Sandame out for his hypocrisy. Why would I leave me home? And I stepped out of line with quitting, sure I'm angry, but quitting like that was going too far. Said Naruto with frown, with the redhead scoffing at his words and shaking her head. Yeah, and it looks like the old bastard didn't care, I saw him talking to an Anbu before calling for a break. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what he was doing, it's why I came here to save your dumb ass. Since no one else obviously gave a shit to try and check on you, despite how much I've heard this place's preaches about caring about their comrades. Tayuya said, technically not lying either since she did see the Hokage talking to an Anbu and no one else did try coming to check on Naruto. With the Uzumaki flinching at this, shocked and hurt that the Hokage could have actually sent Anbu after him, only to shake his head and look at Tayuya with narrowed eyes. And how do I know you aren't just lying? Naruto retorted, Tayuya merely shrugging in response. You don't, I honestly don't give a fuck if you believe me anyway, it's not like I'll get anything out of it. Like I said, I was impressed to see someone actually call a cage out on their bullshit. But I guess you're just a little bitch that lets people walk all over him. Though the facts speak for themselves, you finally get some shit off your chest and decide you've had enough, not even 10 minutes later you have Anbu coming at you with the intent to kill. If that doesn't speak volumes about what happened, then by all means go back, see how long you'll last with no one to save you a second time. Tayuya said, mentally smirking as Naruto flinched again at her words. Then again, given who you are, perhaps they simply were aiming to cripple you, wouldn't want them losing their precious Jinchuriki. Added Tayuya, making the Uzumaki freeze and look at her with wide eyes. How did yo you, Naruto said, freaking out that she knew about the Kyuubi. It's not that hard to figure out, given how you were able to talk to the Hokage like that and all Jinchuriki are in some way connected to their respective village's cage, making it less likely for them to defect. Then sending Anbu after a single genin, it's likely instead of simply killing you, they were meant to capture you so you could be retrained into a loyal weapon, wiping away any freedom you have. Or perhaps they'll simply take the fox out of you and put it into someone else already under their thumb. Tayuya said, with Naruto being confused at the latter part. That doesn't really seem bad to me, having the Kyuubi taken out. Stated Naruto, knowing that then he'd finally get a chance to have a normal life without being hated, while someone older, stronger, and more experienced can deal with the fox. You really don't know. Once you've had a biju sealed inside of you, it becomes part of you, losing it is the same as losing your head. In other words, if they extract the Kyuubi, you'll die. And with the way these fuckers were coming at you, it seems like they didn't care if you captured in one piece, only that you were alive long enough to rip it out. Said Tayuya, her mental smirk growing as Naruto looked horrified, hurt, and betrayed hearing this. Though like you said, what if I'm lying? Just look around you to see the truth, and if I were you, I'd get out while I can before more fuckers show up, ones that'll be more willing to simply kill you instead of capturing. Tayuya said before turning around and taking her leave, leaving Naruto alone with just his thoughts. The old man, would he really do that? Thought Naruto, looking at the dead Anbu while remembering how they didn't hesitate to attack him, not saying anything, only moving to attack. What if Tayuya was right and he did send them? What if he did plan to extract the Kyuubi and put in someone else, not caring if it killed him? Naruto couldn't even risk going and confronting the Hokage, as if it is true then he'd be walking to his own death. I do need to get out of here. Naruto thought, not liking it but knew Tayuya was right. If he stayed here then he was going to die, since even if it's not true, he did just help kill 10 Anbu, even if it was in self-defense. First though, he needed to make sure there was no way anyone from Konoha would be able to find him. Biting his thumb, Naruto went through the hand signs for the summoning jutsu, before slamming his hand on the ground. Summoning jutsu, Naruto said, hoping to summon Gamabunta again. Instead, there was a small puff of smoke as a small orange toad with purple markings appeared. Yo, said the toad with a salute. Damn it, I was hoping to summon Chief Toad. Naruto muttered in a small bout of depression. You're trying to summon Pops, huh? Good luck, you're lucky to be able to have summoned me, Squirt. Said the toad. Chief Toad's your dad? Naruto asked in surprise. Yeah, name's Gamakichi. Introduced the now named Gamakichi. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Replied Naruto. Oh yeah, you're the new guy, who signed the contract. So, why'd you summon me anyway or try to summon my pops? I don't see anyone to fight. Gamakichi said, while looking around, not seeing any enemies. I actually wanted to tell Chief Toad, because I just quit being a ninja and wanted to cancel my contract with the Toads. Given they're allied with Konoha and all. Naruto said, causing Gamakichi to look at him in surprise. You quit being a ninja. Why the hell would you do that? Asked Gamakichi, surprised at the idea of anyone quitting being ninja. Naruto replied, giving a short summary of what happened at the stadium and the Hokage's favoritism, along with how he was just attacked by Anbu. With Gamakichi now understanding why Naruto quit being a ninja, doubting it'd be safe for him to have any connection to Konoha. I get it now, I'll let Pops know. Later, Squirt. Gamakichi said, before dispelling himself. Now to get out of the village before anyone tries stopping me. But first, Naruto thought as he turned in the direction of the Hokage Tower. It was empty given everyone was at the arena, presenting a rather nice opportunity for Naruto to acquire something there. Along with getting some payback against the old man for trying to have him killed. Later. Huh. That's twice I've stolen this thing and gotten away with it. Naruto mentally laughed as he jumped through the trees with all his stuff sealed in storage scrolls, along with the forbidden scroll, which was sealed away also. Yes, he had stolen the forbidden scroll a second time, only now he was fully aware he was stealing it as a final, fuck you, to Konoha and the old man. Though what amused Naruto was that, even after the first time he had stolen the scroll, the Hokage hadn't attempted to put any extra defenses around it to prevent such a thing from happening again. It was even the same spot as last time for Kami's sake. Suddenly, Naruto stopped his jumping when he heard several explosions go off back in the direction of Konoha. Looking back, Naruto's eyes widened in shock when he saw a massive creature made out of what looked to be sand, rampaging around Konoha. Shukaku, muttered Naruto as his eyes flashing red for a brief moment when he saw the creature, Shukaku. For a few moments, Naruto considered going back as he still had some people he cared about in the village. Then again, what exactly could I do to help against a Biju? I don't have any jutsu that could fight it and I can't summon Chief Toad anymore. I'd just be going to my own death, and even if by some miracle I could do something, I'd probably just be locked up afterwards, both for those dead Anbu, leaving and stealing the forbidden scroll again. Naruto thought to himself. Shaking his head, Naruto resumed jumping through the trees. Besides, he wasn't some magical fix-it button for Konoha to press whenever they were in trouble, and they were known as the strongest hidden village. He's sure they can handle Shukaku, and if not, well, he can't deny the irony, they seal away the strongest Biju, only to be destroyed by the weakest. Continuing on his way, Naruto was unaware that someone was watching him the entire time. The person appeared to be a planet human hybrid with a Venus flytrap-like head, while its face was half black and half white, while wearing a black cloak with red clouds. This creature was Zetsu, the spy master of the Akatsuki organization. Currently, Zetsu appeared to be emerging out of a tree as he watched Naruto. So the Kyuubi Jinchuriki has left Konoha. Pain-sama and Madara-sama will want to be informed of this," said Zetsu as he watched Naruto's retreating figure. Sinking into the tree, Zetsu reappeared in one of the Akatsuki's many hidden bases. After a few moments, projections of the other Akatsuki members soon appeared. Zetsu report, commanded Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki, looking at Zetsu with his Rinnegan eyes. Konoha is currently being invaded by Orochimaru and Suna, while the Kyuubi Jinchuriki has just left the village before the attack started. Zetsu reported. The brat actually left his village, he might as well have just gift-wrapped himself for us. What do you say, Leader-sama, should Itachi and I capture the brat? Questioned Kisame, while his partner Itachi remained silent. No. With the Kyuubi Jinchuriki no longer affiliated with his village, we can capture him at our leisure. Pain said, knowing this just made their plans much easier, not to mention the Kyuubi must be sealed last anyway. Besides, from previous reports, the boy wasn't anything impressive. So it would have only been difficult to capture him, while he was still in Konoha. Now that he's not, it'd only be a matter of time to capture him. Timeskip 1 year. Hey, did you hear about those new continents that were discovered? A traveler said to the person sitting next to him. New continents? The person asked curiously. Yep, entire continents discovered beyond the mist, like an entirely new world from what I've heard. The traveler said, before someone walked up to the two. Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear you talking about new continents being discovered. What's that about? Asked the man, curious about these new continents. Oh, well, apparently some fishermen got lost in a storm and ended up going through the mist, where they found themselves in what felt like a completely different world. From what they learned, there were massive continents or regions as the locals called them. Filled with people and creatures of all different shapes, sizes, and species. Even more shocking, none of the people there have ever heard about chakra or even the elemental nations. I've heard rumors though of a ship in the land of waves that's willing to take people to this place. I think they were called the regions of Server. The traveler explained, causing the man to hum in thought. Sounds like an interesting place to visit. The man commented before dismissing himself. Exiting the bar, the man walked into an alley and was immediately enveloped in a cloud of smoke, revealing he was actually Naruto, now 13 years old, wearing a transformation. With him wearing a hooded black cloak that covered up his entire body. A year had passed since he left Konoha, having spent his time staying under the radar along with learning from the Forbidden Scroll. Learning that it didn't just contain forbidden ninjutsu, but every jutsu that Konoha had learned, stolen or created, including clan techniques. One important thing he learned was more about the shadow clone jutsu, that everything a clone learns is transferred back to the original once they dispel. Something that proved very useful and helpful for his training. With Naruto having mostly avoided drawing attention to himself, having mostly relied on stealing anything he needed while finding out about his surprisingly good luck when it came to gambling. While also wearing a transformation everywhere he went, not wanting anyone to know what he looked like. Not that he had to worry about Konoha coming after him, given they're still recovering from the Suna-Oto invasion, along with the death of the Sandaime Hokage. But that didn't mean that others wouldn't be coming after him, leading to the Uzumaki having also been busy trying to find a place he could go where ninja wouldn't follow him. The regions of Server, Naruto muttered, believing he may have found just the place he needed to go to. The place definitely sounds interesting, and from what he just heard, they've only recently been discovered. Meaning they'd be the perfect place for him to go to, and get far away from the elemental nations. Now he just had a way out dropped into his lap. He'll head to Wave Country and catch a ship to Server. Besides, I'll get to see Inari and his family again, along with getting to visit Zabuza's and Haku's graves. It'd be good to say goodbye, given I doubt I'll ever return here once I leave. Naruto thought, knowing that once he leaves the elemental nations he won't come back. Knowing that if he did and Konoha finds him, he'll be lucky if locking him up is all they'll do him. With his mind made up, Naruto began his journey to Wave Country. Timeskip 3 days. Wow. Naruto muttered with his eyes wide as he looked at the bridge his team had protected, more specifically the sign at the top with the bridge's name. The Great Naruto Bridge. It surprised Naruto that they had named the bridge after him. Sure, he helped protect Tazuna and his family, but he didn't think that'd warrant naming the bridge after him. It's actually kind of flattering. Naruto was snapped out of his surprise when heard an explosion from the other side of the bridge. What? Is someone attacking? Naruto wondered before running across the bridge to see what was happening. Arriving in the village, Naruto jumped on top of a roof to get a better look around and see just who was attacking. It didn't take long before Naruto saw a green-haired guy attacking the village, recognizing him as Aoi Rokusho, a missing nin from Konoha who stole the Raijin no Ken before defecting to Imagakure. And there's the sword, the idiot swinging it around like a toy. Naruto thought as he recognized the blade from its description in the Forbidden Scroll. This doesn't have to get any worse. Someone just tell me where the grave of Zabuza Momochi is. If you don't, then I'll simply destroy this village. Aoi shouted. With this declaration definitely had Naruto's attention. He's looking for Zabuza's grave, for what? His sword. Naruto thought, angry at the thought of Aoi stealing Zabuza's weapon. Running off the roof, Naruto jumped off and towards the missing nin, delivering a kick to the back of his head when he wasn't paying attention. Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size? Naruto shouted as he glared at Aoi while the man growled in anger. Then before he knew it, Aoi felt his body suddenly freeze up before feeling it moving against his will. Shadow Possession Jutsu, success. Naruto said from behind Aoi. The man's eyes widened at the name of the jutsu before feeling his head look back and saw another Naruto standing behind him, mimicking his movements. But what had Aoi's attention was that his shadow was stretched out and connected to his. While the Naruto in front of him suddenly vanished in a puff of smoke. Shadow Possession Jutsu. But, you aren't a Nara. Aoi said, not believing this brat knew a Nara clan jutsu. You're right, I'm not. But I am someone that admired Zabuza and cared about his apprentice, and yet you were going to desecrate their graves and steal his sword. And that was your last mistake. State Naruto, before holding his right hand, with Aoi doing the same before the green-haired man paled as he unwilling flipped the Raijin and held it up. Wait. Please do don't, Aoi begged before screaming in agony as he then plunged the Raijin into stomach, not only stabbing himself but electrocuting him as well. With Naruto just watching Aoi blankly as he convulsed and screamed from the pain, before with a single jerk had him tear the Raijin through his body, nearly cutting Aoi in half. The missing nin falling to the ground dead as the Shadow Possession Jutsu ended. A coward like you never deserved this to begin with, Naruto said while going over and picking him up the Raijin, not really feeling anything at having just killed Aoi or how brutally he did so. Naruto! Shouted a familiar voice, snapping Naruto out of his dark thoughts. Looking towards the source of it, Naruto saw Inari running towards him along with Tsunami and Tazuna. Oh, hey guys, Naruto said, while waving at them with a bright smile. You're here, and you helped us again with this guy this time. He showed up wanting to know where Zabuza's grave was, so he could take his sword. None of us told him though, so he just started destroying the village. I wanted to try and fight him, but Ka-san wouldn't let me. But then you showed up and took him down. Inari said as he smiled up at Naruto, who felt the corners of his mouth twitch up at the sight of how happy the boy was. Well, like I said last time, the hero always shows up at the last minute, right? Naruto said with a cheerful grin, happy at seeing the family again. Right, agreed Inari. So, brat, what are you doing back here anyway? You with your team? Asked Tazuna. That's actually a long story, Naruto trailed off, before beginning from the Chunin exams finals. Later, Naruto stood in front of Zabuza and Haku's graves in silence. After he had finished telling Tazuna and his family what happened, they were all angry at what they learned. While none of them were ninja or from a ninja village, and so didn't really understand the significance of the Chunin exams, or things like that. Even they knew it was wrong that the Hokage played favorites among his ninja. Not to mention then trying to capture Naruto and kill him, simple because he finally had enough. Naruto then told him about his plan to go to the server regions, with Tazuna replying that he was in luck as the ship has been all set to go there, but was stopped and delayed by Aoi's arrival and will take some time to prepare. Hearing this, Naruto decided to take the time to visit Zabuza and Haku's grave, as well as pay his respects. Looking at Zabuza's sword, Naruto frowned, knowing Aoi had come here to steal it. What's to stop others from trying to steal it as well? He didn't want anyone to take the blade, given how much it meant to Zabuza and Haku. Take it. Huh. Naruto muttered while looking around. Could have sworn I heard something, thought Naruto, frowning before turning back to the sword, swearing he heard someone say, take it. Take it. Hearing it again, Naruto looked at the sword before making a decision. Grabbing the hilt, Naruto gritted his teeth and pulled it out of the ground, while stumbling back a bit when he felt just how heavy it was. I won't let anyone else try and take this. Naruto mentally swore as a breeze brushed over him. Sealing the blade away, Naruto turned to Haku's grave and saw Haku's mask. Grabbing the mask, Naruto sealed it away, wanting something to remember his friend by, and the girl that taught him what's truly important and worth fighting for. With that, Naruto left the graves to wait for the ship to be ready to take him to server. All while being unaware of that he was being watched by the spirits of two familiar individuals. Are you sure about this, Zabuza? Haku asked as she turned to look at her father figure. If there is anyone that I can entrust my sword to, it would be that brat right there. Zabuza stated with his arms crossed as he looked at the blonde's retreating figure with a look of approval in his eyes. Timeskip 1 day. Naruto stood on the ship that will take him to the server regions, standing by the railing while waving goodbye to Inari, Tsunami, Tazuna and the citizens of Wave Country that had shown up to see their hero off. It still surprised Naruto that the people of Wave considered him their hero. Once he could no longer see Wave Country, Naruto turned his attention towards the ocean and where the region's server lied, along with what new and unknown adventures were waiting for him there. Looking up, Naruto's eyes widened when he saw something flying high in the sky, with a rainbow trailing behind it and sparkling with dozens of colors. Seeing something floating out of the sky, Naruto reached up and grabbed it, seeing that it was a multicolored feather. Looking back up, Naruto saw the giant bird was gone but the rainbow remained. Hearing something moving in the water, Naruto looked down and his eyes widened in amazement seeing something massive moving just below the ship. Whoa, Naruto muttered, watching as the creature dived down into the water. Looking off in the distance, Naruto couldn't help but smile at what awaits him in this new land as the feather held in his hand shimmered. 2 days have passed since Naruto, Mei, and Max had left Petalburg City and begun their journey to Rustboro City. While on the road, Naruto has continued training Zorua and Ralts, along with battling any trainers they come across. Naruto was happy with the fact that he started winning more often than losing, showing his training was paying off. Currently, the three had just entered Petalburg Woods, a large dense forest in the middle of Route 104 that needed to be traversed in order to reach Rustboro City. Though currently, Naruto wished they had another way of reaching Rustboro City. The reason being, they were currently walking through one of the foggier and dark areas of the Petalburg Woods and it was freaking Naruto out. The entire place just gave off a haunted vibe to Naruto, and given his fear of ghosts, he was understandably eager to get out of the woods and back on the road. Come on Max, can't that thing work any faster? Naruto asked, referring to the Pokémon, which Max wanted to test out in the forest to guide them to the exit. Keep your shirt on, I can't make it work any faster than it already is. So you just have to be patient and wait. Max said in a huff, not liking being rushed. Why are you in such a rush to get out of the woods, Naruto? I know you want to reach the Rustboro gym, but I don't think it'll be going anywhere. Said Mei, looking at her friend strangely and seeing that he was looking around nervously. I know, it's just that this place freaks me out. It makes me feel like we're being watched. Naruto muttered, not knowing how right he was. Hiding in the trees was a creature watching them, with gem-like eyes and a grin filled with razor-sharp teeth. Sable. Later. The trio were still walking through woods and Naruto was even more freaked than he was before, as the more they walked, the more he felt like they were being followed. It didn't help that he kept hearing trees and bushes moving, twigs breaking, and he could swear that he heard something laughing. His constant jumping at every little noise was also starting to get on Max's and Mei's nerves. Would you stop that? You're acting like we're about to get attacked at any moment. Mei shouted, finally getting tired of Naruto freaking out over nothing. But we could be attacked. You don't know who's out here in the woods besides us, or what kind of Pokémon are here. What if there are ghost types? Naruto said while shivering at the thought, causing Max and Mei to stop in their tracks. Wait, are you scared of ghost-type Pokémon? Max asked, while smirking slyly. Yeah, so what if I am? Retorted Naruto, recognizing the look on Max's face. Nothing, nothing, Max said nonchalantly, though he was still smirking. Naruto muttered under his breath, just knowing that Max was mocking him. Being afraid of ghosts is a legitimate fear. You can't hit them, you can't touch them, they can turn invisible, and they can possess you. It didn't help when Naruto learned about ghost-type Pokémon, an entire Pokémon type for Kami's sake. Naruto's just thankful he hasn't run into any trainers that use or specialize in ghost-type Pokémon. Eep. Huh, Mei, what's wrong? Naruto asked, looking at his friend who suddenly shrieked. Though he was confused, when she suddenly glared at him and slapped him hard across the face. Ow, what was that for? Naruto demanded as he held his cheek, which was now sporting a bright red hand mark. You just pinched my butt, you pervert. Mei shouted, her face red in anger and embarrassment. What? No, I didn't, said Naruto, frowning at the accusation. Seriously, who did she take him for, the pervy sage? Well, it sure wasn't Max, since he's walking in front of us, said Mei. What the hey, my glasses. Max said when his glasses suddenly flew off his face. Huh, Naruto and Mei said in unison, now confused. Though Naruto paled when he saw Max's glasses floating in midair. Ghost. Naruto shouted. His fear only increased when the ghost revealed itself. It was a bipedal Pokémon with a dark purple body, armed with sharp teeth and claws. It has pale blue, gemstone-like eyes. It also has a red gemstone on its chest, and its back has a blue and green gemstone as well as another red one. It didn't help as it had a grin showing off its razor-sharp teeth. Sableye. The Sableye cackled as it jumped down from its perch on a tree branch, with Max's glasses on its face. What a Sableye? Max asked, squinting his eyes to see. Huh, Sableye. Mei wondered, while pulling out her Pokédex and scanning the Pokémon. Sableye, the darkness Pokémon. Sableye normally live within caves and eat rocks. They use their sharp claws to dig through the earth. Sableye ran over to Naruto, who backed away until his back hit a tree, with him looking so pale that he might faint. Sableye climbed up Naruto's body until it was looking him dead in the eyes, which freaked Naruto out, at having those two large gemstone eyes peering into his soul. Thankfully though, Naruto was relieved when Sableye suddenly turned around and jumped off him. Oh, thank Kami. Naruto thought in relief. Sableye. There you are. Someone said, getting the attention of Naruto, Mei, and Max. Looking, or squinting in Max's case as Sableye still had his glasses, they saw it was a girl a couple years older than Naruto and Mei. The girl was small and very slender with short spiky black hair, bare feet, tan skin and blue eyes with two big red Hawaiian-style cornflowers that cover the sides of her head. She wears a blue two-piece dress with a strapless bra, white Hawaiian cornflowers and a Pokémon logo on it. She also wore a red ankle bracelet on her left leg. Sable. Sableye ran up to the girl, before jumping up onto her shoulder. There you are. Where did you run off to, you little troublemaker? And where did you get these? The girl asked while grabbing the glasses off Sableye's face. Sableye. Sableye pointed to the three trainers. Huh, said the girl, finally taking notice of three. Oh, I'm really sorry about that, are these yours? The girl asked while handing Max back his glasses, who immediately put them back on. Thankful at being able to see again, Max soon gasped in shock when he saw the girl. You're Phoebe of the Elite Four. Max exclaimed in shock. Elite Four. Naruto and Mei thought, also shocked at learning this. Naruto knew about the Elite Four. Four of the strongest trainers in any given region, only just behind the champion, each specializing in one Pokémon type. The Elite Four was the final test for trainers that wanted to battle the Pokémon champion. Since if you could defeat all four of them, then you'll get to battle the champion in an official match for the title. And he was meeting a member of it, right now. Ahahaha. That's right, I'm Phoebe of the Elite Four, the strongest ghost-type trainer in all of Hoenn. Phoebe said while doing a pose with Sableye mimicking her. Sableye. And I suppose you've already this troublemaker, this Sableye, my partner Pokémon, and I apologize for any trouble she's given you. She's always enjoyed pranking anyone she meets. By the way, who are you three? Phoebe asked, curious, while the three shook off their shock. Oh, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and these are my friends, Mei and her little brother Max. Naruto introduced. It's nice to meet you, said Mei. Yeah, this is so cool. I'm actually meeting an Elite Four member, Max said in excitement. Nice to meet you three, said Phoebe, smiling at the three. Sableye. Sableye grinned and flashed the peace sign, with Naruto shivering at the creepy smile. So, are three heading for Rustboro City? Phoebe asked, given that if they were in Petalburg Woods, then they're either going to Rustboro City or Petalburg City. Yeah, I'm hoping to challenge the Rustboro gym, Naruto answered. Oh, a new trainer, I see, that's good. Always nice to see new trainers, said Phoebe while smiling. What about you, Phoebe, what are you doing in Petalburg Woods? Asked Mei, wondering what an Elite Four member was doing here. A couple reasons, actually. The first is to train and better communicate with ghost-type Pokémon. The second is that I've heard some rumors that this part of the woods is said to be haunted. With it being said that people who harm the forest disappear, and are never seen again, Phoebe said in a spooky voice, with Sableye on her shoulder adding to the creep factor. Really? Mei asked, excited at hearing this. Naruto, however, was the complete opposite and now wanting more than ever to get out of the forest. Yep, I wanted to see if this was true and what was causing it. My bet's on a super strong ghost-type Pokémon, given ghost types are known to be rather territorial and don't like it when people come into their homes. Phoebe said, being an expert on ghost-type Pokémon and their behavior. This made Naruto whimper, now really wanting to get out of the forest without encountering any angry ghost Pokémon. Hey, are you alright, Naruto? Phoebe asked, noticing his scared expression. Who, me? Yeah, I'm totally fine. Where did you say the exit was again? Naruto questioned while sweating nervously. Don't mind him, he's just scared of ghost Pokémon, Max said teasingly. It's a legitimate fear, said Naruto. Really? Are you scared of ghost Pokémon? Asked Phoebe, causing Naruto to sigh in admittance. Not just ghost Pokémon, but ghosts in general. They're terrifying since you can't fight them, but they can harm you, so all that you can do is run. Naruto said. While I can understand your fear, you should know that most ghost Pokémon aren't really malicious in their intents, most of the time only playing harmless pranks to scare people away. Take Sableye for example, she may look scary, but really she's a sweetheart. Even if she can be a troublemaker and take things that don't belong to her. Phoebe said, while looking at Sableye with a mock stern look. Sableye. Sableye suddenly looked up and jumped off Phoebe's shoulder. Huh, Sableye, what is it? Phoebe asked, wondering what her Pokémon was doing. Sableye. Sableye walked a short distance away and stopped short of something. Then to the surprise of the three kids, Sableye pushed on a tripwire causing a net to emerge from the ground, obviously meant to trap whatever or whoever tripped the tripwire. Poachers. Phoebe spat, losing her smile. What? Naruto asked confused. Pokémon poachers, this one of their traps. They're known to capture Pokémon, sometimes many of the same species, and then sell them for profit. They usually set up traps like this one to capture Pokémon that stumble onto them, said Phoebe. This made the three frown in anger at anyone capturing Pokémon in such a way, while Naruto growled in anger at Pokémon being sold off for profit. Suddenly the four were engulfed in a mini sandstorm, much to their confusion at sand in a forest. What's going on? Where did this come from? Naruto shouted, while covering his face from the sand. It's sandstorm. A ground-type move. The poacher must have seen us and using this to escape or distract us. Phoebe said. What's that smell? Said Max before falling over. Max. Mei shouted in worry before hitting the ground as well. Sleep, powder, Phoebe muttered before hitting the ground as well. Naruto coughed as he started feeling the effects of the powder, only staying awake thanks to the Kyuubi's chakra. Pulling out Zorua's Pokeball, Naruto saw Sableye manage to get out of range of the sandstorm. Sableye, get away, quickly. Naruto said, before he hit the ground as Zorua's Pokeball rolling away. Sableye. Sableye looked at the trainer in worry, before picking up the Pokeball and began running, knowing that she won't be able to help if she's captured too, and maybe this Pokemon will be able to help. Later. Groaning, Naruto woke up and rubbed his head. Looking, he saw that May, Max, and Phoebe were also waking up as well. He also saw they were locked in a cage. Well, look who's finally awake. Someone said, getting their attention. Looking, they saw a guy with green hair smirking at them, while a large Pokemon stood next to him. It was a large, bipedal, dinosaurian Pokemon with a green, armor-like hide covering its body. It has two pairs of pointed teeth, one in the upper jaw and one in the lower. Several spikes of varying size protrude from the back of its head, neck, and shoulders. Both sides of its chest, the center of its back, and its knees have two triangular holes. There is a gray, diamond-shaped patch of scales covering its belly, and a smaller one on its back. It has 3 claws on its feet and hands. A ring of spikes surrounds the tip of its tail. You're the Pokémon poacher, aren't you? Naruto said, glaring at the guy, whose smirk widened. That's right, admitted the man without any remorse. Where are our Pokémon? Questioned Phoebe, not finding any of her Pokeballs on her person. Oh, you mean these Pokémon? The man said, showing them a box containing what Naruto, May, and Phoebe recognized as their Pokeballs. Give them back now, Naruto demanded, with the man scoffing and setting the box down. Not a chance. Do you have any idea what an Elite Four's Pokémon will be worth? And once I capture that shiny Trevenant, I'll be set for life. Tyranitar, keep an eye on them and make sure they don't try anything. The man said, with Tyranitar growling in confirmation. With that, the man walked away, leaving the 4 in the cage. Grr, I'm gonna make that guy pay, if he does anything with our Pokémon. What the hell are you looking at? Naruto snapped while glaring at Tyranitar. Phoebe, what did that guy mean by a shiny Trevenant? May asked, worried both for her Torchic and this Trevenant Pokémon. I'm not sure. I've never heard of a Trevenant in Hoenn, since while its pre-evolution Phantump can sometimes be found in the Petalburg forest. They usually require trading to evolve, so my guess is that it's from a different region or a uniquely strong Phantump was able to evolve on its own. That alone will make it valuable. The fact it'd be a shiny one, only makes it more valuable. Phoebe said, frowning, knowing how rare shiny Pokémon are and that just seeing one was rare, but managing to catch one is even more so. And that guy's trying to capture it, just to sell it for a profit. Naruto said lowly with his eyes flashing red, thankfully no one noticed. He tried thinking of what he could to escape from the cage. However, before he could just smash through the cage, they saw Sableye sneaking up behind Tyranitar. Phoebe was relieved that her partner Pokémon had managed to escape, and had come to helping them escape as well. Sableye immediately jumped on top of Tyranitar's head and covered the Pokémon's eyes. The Tyranitar roared in anger and tried shaking Sableye off, but the darkness Pokémon held on tight even as Tyranitar thrashed about. Yeah, go Sableye! Phoebe cheered. Ah, Phoebe! Naruto said, getting the Elite Four members' attention. Looking, Phoebe was surprised when she saw Sableye standing outside the cage, holding the key. Sableye? Phoebe asked confused, while looking between the Sableye outside the cage and the one on Tyranitar. Suddenly the Sableye that was on top of Tyranitar was thrown off and impacted a tree, where it glowed briefly before transforming into Zorua. Zorua! Naruto said upon seeing his starter Pokémon in danger, as Tyranitar loomed over him. Seeing Zorua in danger, Naruto threw caution to the wind. Immediately, he unsealed the Executioner's blade, much to the shock of May, Max, and Phoebe both at the sudden appearance of the massive sword, as well as the sheer size. Duck! Naruto said, preparing to swing the sword. Not needing to be told twice, the 3 all ducked down and Naruto swung the blade, slicing through the upper part of the cage like butter, before pushing it off and jumping out. The other 3 were still shocked and even Sableye was surprised, who looked at the keys before tossing them aside upon seeing they were no longer needed. Hey ugly! Naruto said, getting Tyranitar's attention. With some effort Naruto threw the blade in a spinning arc at Tyranitar, who raised its arms blocking the attack due to its scales being able to withstand the blade. However, the thrown blade proved to just be a distraction when Naruto jumped above Tyranitar, while performing another jutsu he learned from the Forbidden Scroll, the Rasengan. And thanks to his shadow clone training, he didn't need a clone to stabilize it. Rasengan, Naruto shouted as the jutsu formed in his right hand, before slamming the attack into Tyranitar's back, causing the Pokémon to cry out in pain as the attack drilled into it. The Tyranitar slammed into the ground with swirls in its eyes. May, Max, and Phoebe were amazed at seeing Naruto take down a Tyranitar on his own, along with how he made that sword appear from thin air, and that power he used. Resealing the executioner's blade, Naruto picked up Zorua. "Hey, you alright Zorua?" Naruto asked. Zorua looked at the Tyranitar and lowered his ears in fear. Looking at the Pokémon, Naruto frowned as Zorua seemed to know it. Then it clicked for Naruto, upon remembering how he met Zorua. "That guy, the poacher, he's the one that hurt you, wasn't he?" Naruto asked, with Zorua nodding at remembering the man from before. Growling, Naruto was even angrier than before at finding out that the bastard was the one who hurt his starter Pokémon, and swore to make him pay. Naruto, May, and Phoebe all retrieved their Pokeballs, before they all took off running in the direction the poacher ran off in, intent to put a stop to his poaching. Later, arriving in a clearing, the four saw the poacher and a Firo wrapped up tree roots, making them frown in confusion. What could have done this? Naruto wondered. "I think I know," said Phoebe while pointing ahead of them. Looking, Naruto, May, and Max saw a strange tree-like Pokémon. It was a ghostly Pokémon resembling a slender gray-white tree. Its shadowy black body is visible through gaps in the tree, and a single, purple eye is visible through a hole near the top. There is a wavy, horn-like branch on either side of its head, both dotted with small, orange-red leaves, and a smaller branch on its forehead. On top of its head is a cluster of orange-red leaves. It has two arms with gnarled branches similar to its horns on the elbows. Around its wrists are cuffs of green leaves and it has 3 claw-like fingers on each hand. Instead of legs, it has 6 roots similar to a spider's legs. Trevenant. That's Trevenant, Naruto said, while gulping at the Pokémon. Yeah, Phoebe said before stepping forward. Phoebe, are you sure you should battle it alone? It looks pretty strong, said Naruto, causing Phoebe to look back at him with a smile. Don't worry, I'm a member of the Elite Four, remember? Ready Sableye? Phoebe asked, looking at her partner, who nodded and jumped in front of her. Sable. Trev. Right, Sableye used Shadow Sneak. Phoebe said. Sableye. Sableye's eyes glowed red as her shadow extended on the ground and went behind Trevenant, before it rose up to attack the ghost grass type. However, Trevenant turned around as its hands were shrouded in a black and purple aura and slashed through Sableye's shadow. The Pokémon then rounded on Sableye and appeared in front of her with surprising speed, as its right hand became shrouded in a green aura that took the shape of a hammer that it brought down on Sableye. Sableye quickly, jump into the air, said Phoebe. Sableye jumped back, avoiding the attack as it slammed into the ground and jumped high into the air. Now Sableye, use foul play, Phoebe commanded. Sableye grabbed Trevenant by its head and to the surprise of the dual-type Pokémon, it was lifted off the ground and slammed back down. Now Sableye use Shadow Ball, said Phoebe, with Sableye nodding as a black ball of energy formed between her hands. Sableye launched the attack at Trevenant, who was still dazed from foul play and thus couldn't dodge. Trevenant cried out as the attack hit dead on. Sableye one more time use Shadow Sneak, said Phoebe, wanting to make sure she weakened Trevenant enough. Sableye. Once more Sableye's shadow appeared behind Trevenant, only this time the shadow attack successfully knocked Trevenant to the side. Seeing the Trevenant was severely weakened, Phoebe pulled out an empty Pokeball. An Ultra Ball to be more precise. Alright, now go Pokeball, said Phoebe, throwing the Ultra Ball at Trevenant. The Ultra Ball bounced off Trevenant and sucked it inside before falling to the ground. The Ultra Ball shook for several moments as the four watched in trepidation, if it'd succeed or not. The wait ended when the Ultra Ball stopped shaking and gave off a ping sound, signifying a successful capture, much to Phoebe's delight. Alright, I caught Trevenant, cheered Phoebe. Sableye jumped up, pleased at helping her trainer catch a powerful new Pokémon. Wow, she's really strong, Naruto said in amazement at what Phoebe was capable of. Sure, he knew the Elite Four members were way stronger than the gym leaders, but seeing how strong one was up close was something else. Later. Thank you, you four. I knew Rico was up to his old tricks, but could never catch him. But thanks to you all, the Pokémon of Petalburg Woods can rest easier, said Officer Jenny, who looking to the tied-up Rico with a glare. We're just glad that he can't capture any more Pokémon, Naruto said, before sending a glare at Rico. Nodding in agreement with that, Officer Jenny drove off to put Rico behind bars, while Phoebe looked at Naruto with a smile. I gotta say Naruto, you really surprised me back in the forest, both your skills, quick thinking, and unpredictability. I can tell you're gonna grow to be a great trainer, Phoebe said. Thanks Phoebe, that means a lot coming from an Elite Four member, Naruto replied, Phoebe nodding. Keep up the good work and good luck on your journey, all of you. And Naruto, I look forward to seeing you battle in the Evergrande conference, said Phoebe. I will and I plan to win, Naruto said determined. Well, first you have to get 8 badges. But until then, keep training and grow stronger, cause the Elite Four always give it their all in our battles. Until next time guys, said Phoebe, while waving at farewell to them as she took her leave, which they returned. With that Naruto, Mei, and Max continued on their way to Rustboro City in Naruto's first gym battle. With the ex-ninja more determined than ever to collect all 8 gym badges and reach the Evergrande conference. So, what did you think? Good. Yep, Naruto, Mei, and Max have now met Phoebe, the ghost-type master of the Hoenn Elite Four. Not only that, but they had an encounter with the Pokémon poacher Rico, who is a canon character, and finally they confronted a shiny Trevenant, which Phoebe has now caught. Now onto the Omake, which will feature Kitsuchi and Fu meeting each other within Sinnoh. Omake. Meeting between Fire and Bug. Kitsuchi hadn't really expected much when she arrived in the Serva regions, with her ship having traveled to the Sinnoh region specifically. Honestly, she still didn't want to be here, wishing to be back in Iwa and protecting her village. She knew she likely would have died in the war that's likely already started, but she'd rather die protecting her home than running with her tail between her legs. But she also didn't want to disobey her father's and grandfather's final wish, for her to have a second chance at life without any fighting. She's even gotten her own starter Pokémon from the Sinnoh Pokémon professor, Professor Rowan, a rather feisty Chimchar. Now though, Kitsuchi was having her first Pokémon battle, and surprisingly enough, it was someone else from the elemental nations. Takigakure from the look of her headband. The girl was named Fu, with her starter Pokémon being a Yanma. Chimchar used Scratch Attack. Kitsuchi commanded. Chimchar. Chimchar jumped at Yanma with its claws glowing. Yanma used Double Team to avoid it. Fu said. Yanma. Yanma was immediately created several copies of itself, surrounding and confusing the chimp Pokémon. Chimchar looked around, not sure which was the real Yanma. Chimchar quick use Ember on all of them, said Kitsuchi, with Chimchar nodding. Chimchar. Chimchar started, launching several Ember attacks at all of the Yanma, with the fake ones disappearing, until only one remained. Yanma use Quick Attack to avoid Ember and then use Tackle, said Fu. Yanma immediately starting zipping around the battlefield before smashing into Chimchar, getting the fire type to cry out as it was thrown into a tree. Thanks, you just helped me, Kitsuchi said smirking, confusing Fu. What do you mean? Fu asked. Chimchar suddenly shot up, surrounded by a fire-like aura. Chimchar's ability Blaze just kicked in. Now Chimchar use Leer then use Ember, said Kitsuchi. Chimchar glared at Yanma with glowing red eyes, making the bug-type shiver. Chimchar then let loose a stream of ember from its mouth that hit Yanma, creating an explosion and throwing it to the ground. Yanma, Fu said in worry. When the smoke cleared, Yanma was on the ground with swirls in its eyes. Yanma. Running over to her Pokémon, Fu petted its head. You did good Yanma, now get some rest, Fu said before returning Yanma to its Pokéball. Alright, we won, Kitsuchi said, with Chimchar jumping on one foot to the other. Chimchar. That was a fun battle. Even better, that I get to meet someone else from the elemental nations. Fu said, happy that she wasn't the only ninja in the server regions. Yeah, I guess. Kuretsuchi said, crossing her arms. Well, you know my name, what's yours? Asked Fu. Kuretsuchi. Kuretsuchi answered after debating it for a few moments. It's nice to meet you, Kuretsuchi. Do you want to travel together? Fu asked, with Kuretsuchi looking at her confused. Travel together, repeated Kuretsuchi, with Fu nodding. Yeah, traveling together. It'd be better than going off on our own, besides, it'd be more fun to have a friend. Fu said while holding out her hand. Friend, Kuretsuchi muttered while looking at Fu's offered hand. The part of her that was an Iwakunoichi screamed at her to reject the offer, especially given Taki was allied with Konoha. But another part of herself told Kuretsuchi that it would be nice to have a traveling companion, especially someone else who was new to the server regions as well. Yeah, friends, said Kuretsuchi, grabbing Fu's hand with a small smile. Within Iwagakure, Orochimaru sat on his throne, tapping his fingers on one of the armrests as he contemplated recent events. After the Uzumaki brat had left the arena, things had proceeded just as Orochimaru wanted. With the invasion going off, he took his former sensei hostage and finally killed him, while also summoning the Shodime and Nadaime Hokages to assist in this. Meanwhile, Gaara's rampage throughout the village after transforming into Shukaku. Everything was going just as Orochimaru wanted. That is until things started going downhill, very fast. His sensei had managed to use the Reaper Death Seal to not only seal away the Shodime and Nadaime Hokage's souls into the Shinigami, but also his arms as well, forcing him to call a retreat. The only upside was that it costed the old man his life as well, but Orochimaru had still lost the use of his arms. However, that wasn't the end of the bad news. Once he and his forces had returned to Oto, Orochimaru was informed Sasuke Uchiha had been killed by Gaara. This obviously displeased Orochimaru greatly, as now the Sharingan was forever lost to him. He had underestimated just how far Gaara's bloodlust went and how he targeted Sasuke. Afterwards, the only good thing was that Orochimaru managed to get Tsunade to heal his arms, so he could summon a snake to retrieve the mask of the Shinigami from the Uzumaki mask storage temple and regain full use of them. He'd even managed to get her to cure Kimimaro of his illness, returning the Kagaya to 100%. Not that Tsunade had much of a choice, given she was now considered a traitor for helping him. Especially with that warmonger Danzo becoming Hokage now. Orochimaru thought as he frowned grimly at the idea of that Warhawk now being in the position of power that he coveted for so long. He had received word that Danzo had managed to gather enough support to take the title of Hokage, given no one else had stepped up to take the mantle and those that were worthy, refused to accept it. Orochimaru already knew what's coming with someone like Danzo and his root Anbu controlling Konoha. War was all that someone like Danzo knew, and the Sannin knew that Danzo would never rest until all of the elemental nations was under his control. Not to mention, Konoha and Suna were already locked in a cold war, given Danzo would never consider peace talks and Suna wasn't willing to negotiate either, after the death of their own Jinchuriki, courtesy of Jiraiya. Yes, Orochimaru knew another great shinobi war was on the rise, having fought in 2 of them already, he could feel it in his bones. And then there's young Naruto. Orochimaru thought as he brought a hand to his chin in thought. He never imagined one single choice could have such drastic consequences, as something told Orochimaru if his sensei had simply allowed the boy to fight. Then things would have taken a very different turn than what's happening right now. It was also easy for Orochimaru to deduce just where the boy was going, the newly discovered regions of Server, and if Orochimaru was a betting man, he knew Danzo and his old colleagues in the Akatsuki would make the same connection, if they haven't already. I think it's time to pack up shop. Orochimaru muttered to himself. He knew it was only a matter of time before the 4th Great Shinobi War began, possibly followed by a 5th Shinobi War not long after, as he doubted either Konoha or Suna would rest until the other is destroyed, leaving behind a massive power vacuum. No matter what, Orochimaru only saw one inevitable conclusion: the complete destruction of the shinobi system and the elemental nations as a whole. Plus, with Sasuke now dead, his dream of learning all the world's jutsu died with him, leaving Orochimaru no reason to remain in the elemental nations and get dragged into a war he wanted no part in. Besides, it'd be in both his and the world's best intentions, if the Akatsuki didn't get their hands on Naruto. Not to mention, I want to see what other choices young Naruto will make. Orochimaru thought with an intrigued smirk forming on his face. If he was right and Naruto's decision to leave Konoha was the catalyst for everything that's happened, the Sannin wanted to see what Naruto's future choices will bring about. Maybe he'll even find a new dream to fulfill in the server regions. Even better, in server no one will know who he is and he won't have to constantly watch his back for threats. Kabuto, send word to all our forces to seal up anything and everything of value. We're leaving. Orochimaru ordered his right hand, as he stood up to begin sealing away his own belongings. The elemental nations was now a sinking ship and Orochimaru was not going to be dragged down with it. Iwagakure. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki is in the server regions, we saw him boarding a ship to there in the wave country. Zetsu reported to his masters, and the leaders of the Akatsuki. I suppose the brat does have some brains, if he was smart enough to get out of the elemental nations when he could. Well, at least we know where he is now. What about the other Jinchuriki? Madara questioned as he looked toward Pain. I currently have the others searching for them. Though we now have to wait for the Ikibi to reform before we can make our move. Pain said with Madara nodding reluctantly, still angry at the delay from Shukaku's Jinchuriki dying. Both Pain and Madara weren't really concerned about the threat of the oncoming war, more concerned with tracking down the remaining Jinchuriki and capturing them. As while Jinchuriki are known to be powerful shinobi, they can still be overcome by greater numbers and killed. Even someone like Hashirama Senju was overwhelmed by greater numbers and killed during the First Shinobi War. So, it'd be in their best interest to capture the Jinchuriki before any of them can die, delaying their plans even further. Zetsu, would you be able to keep track of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki in the regions of server? Madara asked, considering none of the Akatsuki have been to there, and thus didn't know the layout or even how big they were. If they lost track of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, it's likely they'll never be able to find him. Unfortunately, Zetsu shook his head negative. I tried boarding the ship to follow him, but when we got too far, we were thrown out of the ship and into the water. Whatever happened, something's keeping us bound to the elemental nations. Zetsu answered. Though internally, Black Zetsu guessed that this is likely the work of Hagoromo or Hamura, if not something else entirely keeping him from following the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. This is disappointing. Nagato, have Kisame and Itachi travel to server and begin searching for the Jinchuriki. Madara ordered, while the Rinnegan user looked hesitant at issuing out these orders. Are you sure? We don't know the direction of the ship that he was on, nor where he could be by now. It could take years, even decades to locate him without Zetsu. Pain said, not wanting to send away two of their strongest members on a wild goose chase. So, we have all the time in the world to track him down. Madara said as brushed off Pain's concerns. If only he knew just how badly those words would come back to bite him in the ass. Takigakure. What did you say? Fu asked in shock, as she looked at Shibuki with wide eyes and an agape mouth. I've set things up for you to go to the regions of server. No one will know who you are, that you're a Jinchuriki. You can start a new life, a better life away from here. Along with not being dragged down with the rest of us. Shibuki said, while adding the latter part mentally. He wasn't a fool, he knew war was coming and something told Shibuki that the elemental nation's days are numbered and he didn't want Fu to be turned into a weapon in this war, like so many other Jinchuriki have been. He wanted her to live her own life. And in server, she can do just that. She won't be hated for being a Jinchuriki as no one will know she's a Jinchuriki. Fu wanted to argue against him to let her stay. While she may not like her home village, she didn't want Shibuki to die, given he's the only one to have treated her kindly. Though she was stopped when Shibuki rose a hand. I know what you're going to say, but my decision is final. I'm ordering you to go as your leader, as well as asking you as a friend to take this second chance and live your life the way you want to. Said Shibuki. You should take the offer, Fu. I can feel it deep within me, this war that's coming, it will destroy the elemental nations. You need to get out while you still can. Said Chome, the Nanabi, not wanting its host to die. Chome, are you sure, this is your home? Fu thought, knowing that Chome was created here in the elemental nations. This land hasn't been my home for centuries, if not millennia. Please, take the offer and escape. Chome said, knowing that if they stayed, they'll both suffer. Sighing in resignation, Fu nodded to Shibuki that she'll go. Thank you, Fu, and I'm sorry for not doing more to help you. Shibuki said, as he gave the green-haired girl a solemn smile. You've done more than enough, Shibuki. And I swear I won't waste this chance you've given me. Fu said, determined to make the most of this second chance. Konoha Hyuga compound. You're sending us away? Hinata asked, looking at her father while her sister and cousin were beside her, with Hiyashi nodding in confirmation. Yes. All three you will be taken out of Konoha and granted transportation to the newly discovered regions of Server. Hiyashi said. He knew what he was doing was treason against Danzo, but Hiyashi refused to let that power-hungry warmonger turn his daughters or nephew into mindless killing machines, like the rest of his root drones. In fact, Hiyashi wasn't the only one doing this. He knew the rest of the clan heads were sending their children away, with Kurenai also convincing Unkai to send Yakumo away as well. All of the remaining Konoha 12, as they've been called, are being smuggled out Konoha before Danzo can get his hands on them. They all knew it was treason, but they did it anyway. As they wanted to keep their children and those they see as their own, safe from the war they all know will happen. And to make sure their clans will live on through the next generation, should they all be wiped out in this war. I will protect Hinata-sama and Hanabi-sama with my life, Hiyashi-sama. Neji said, knowing it was his fate to be sent with the heiresses to act as their protector. No, Neji, I'm not sending you to act as their guard. Hiyashi said, before pulling out the letter his brother Hizashi wanted him to give to his son, before he died. Handing it to his nephew, Neji took and opened the letter, only to be shocked that it was from his father. Even more shocking was what it said. He didn't die because it was his fate, he chose to die to protect his brother. Neji thought, holding the letter tightly. Looking up, he saw Hiyashi bowing low to the ground, much to the surprise of his daughters. Having never seen their father do such a thing. Neji, I know nothing I can do can ever make up for allowing my brother, your father, to give his life to save mine. But what I can do is make sure you live. Hiyashi said, Neji looking solemnly at his father's letter. Please stand up, a clan head shouldn't bow. Neji said, with Hiyashi doing so and facing his daughters and nephew. I know I was never a good father, or uncle, but I refuse to let you three suffer from what's to come. Please, take this chance and live your lives free from the burdens placed on you. Hiyashi said, having already made plans to have the caged bird seal removed from his nephew's forehead. Hinata, Hanabi, and Neji all looked at each, still surprised by what they've learned and what's happened recently. Looking at Hiyashi they nodded, wanting to fulfill his final wish for them. With Tsunade, Shizune, and Jiraiya. Hard to believe I'm really leaving this place. Even more so, that you're leaving too. Tsunade said, looking at Jiraiya. Both of them, plus Tsunade's apprentice Shizune, were currently in a port town in the Fire Country, waiting for the ship that'll take them to the Server regions. None of them had any desire to stay in the elemental nations any longer. Especially with Danzo as Hokage, given Tsunade will likely be hunted down for helping Orochimaru and Jiraiya just had nothing left in the elemental nations. Well, what do you expect? Sensei is dead, Minato and Kushina are dead, Danzo's Hokage, and my godson is gone, there's just nothing left for me here. Said Jiraiya as he downed another shot, while Tsunade nodded, knowing that there was nothing left for her either. Tsunade-sama, what will we do when we arrive in Server? Shizune asked, curious if they'll do when they get there. Find whichever place has the best casinos and bars, then settle down there. Tsunade said, knowing that in the regions of Server, she won't have to constantly be on the move and finally be able to settle down in one place. Maybe she'll even work at a hospital again, or something. What about you? What are you going to do? Asked Tsunade, looking at Jiraiya, with the Toad Sage simply shrugging. Don't know, travel maybe, set up another spy network. Maybe I'll find something there to write about. Jiraiya said, not really sure on what he'll do when he gets to Server. It all depends on what happens when they arrive there. Maybe he'll run into Naruto if the brat was in the Server regions. Though it'd probably be better that if I did find the brat, that I don't meet him. I doubt he'd want to see anyone from the elemental nations, ever again. Jiraiya thought solemnly. Iwagakure. You can't be serious. Kuretsuchi demanded, looking at her father and grandfather in both disbelief and anger. Oh, I'm very serious. You are to be transported to these newly discovered regions of Server and stay there, starting a new life. Onoki said with a serious expression. And abandoned my home, my friends, my family. Hell no, old man, you can't just get rid of me. Kuretsuchi shouted, refusing to abandon her village and family, especially when she knew what was coming. While she may have never fought in a war, Kuretsuchi wasn't stupid. She's seen her grandfather organizing Iwa's forces, sending out scout teams, getting the academy to speed up on training new students to become genin. It's already been set up, Kuretsuchi. You'll be escorted to the nearest port town, where a ship will be waiting to take you there. Kitsuchi said while looking at his daughter, having agreed with his father-in-law's plan to send Kuretsuchi away for her own safety. While it hurt that this will likely be the last time he'll ever see his daughter, he wasn't going to lose her like he lost her mother. I'm not leaving, Kuretsuchi stated as she crossed her arms resolutely, while Onoki had enough of her stubbornness. You will leave, and you will do as your Tsuchikage commands you. Onoki shouted, slamming his fist down onto his desk, shattering it much to Kuretsuchi's shock, given she's never seen her grandfather lose his temper like that. I've already lost your mother, my daughter, to a war. I refuse to bury my granddaughter as well. Now please, this is the last time I'll ask before I use force, take this chance to escape and live a new life. One without fighting or death, one where you can be who you choose to be. Onoki said, looking at Kuretsuchi with a pleading look as tears leaked out of his eyes. He didn't want to have to bury another one of his family members, he'd sooner make peace with that damn yellow flash, if he wasn't already dead. Seeing the look in her father and grandfather's eyes made Kuretsuchi look down, before nodding in resignation. Okay, I'll go, muttered Kuretsuchi. Thank you. And I meant what I said, this is a second chance to live your life however you want, something not everyone can get. Said Onoki, with Kuretsuchi nodding as tears began escaping her eyes, as well. She didn't like it, but she'll take the second chance her grandfather's giving her, to live her life in the regions of Server. With Naruto getting off the ship, Naruto looked around the town he arrived in. So, this is Littleroot Town. Naruto thought, having heard that was the name of the place his ship was heading. It was really nice in Naruto's opinion, nice and peaceful. More peaceful than anywhere in the elemental nations, that's for sure. Thought Naruto. Walking through the town, Naruto couldn't help but notice the people were also friendlier. Then again, no one here knows he's a Jinchuriki or where he's from. Excuse me, Naruto said to a lady on the sidewalk. Yes, can I help you, young man? The woman asked. Maybe, see, I just arrived here and don't really know where anything is. Naruto said sheepishly as he scratched the back of his head, while giving the lady a small smile. Oh, you must be a new trainer, here to get your first Pokémon from Professor Birch. Well, if you're looking for his lab, it's just on the outskirts of town, it's not hard to find, just look for the arch-shaped building. The woman said, while Naruto nodded slowly, not understanding most of what she just said. What's a Pokémon? Wondered Naruto, before going in the directions the woman just gave him. Maybe this Professor Birch will be able to help him. On the way there, Naruto couldn't help but take notice that a couple people were walking beside strange-looking creatures. Some looked like animals, others with a vague human shape, and others Naruto couldn't even describe. Are these the Pokémon that lady was talking about? Naruto wondered, while looking at the creatures. Zor, Ua, huh, Naruto muttered while looking around for the source of the voice he just heard. Zor, that sounds like something in pain. Naruto thought worriedly, before hearing whatever it was cry out again. Zorua. Running towards where the cry was coming from, Naruto soon found what was making the noise hidden behind some bushes. It was a small slate-gray, fox-like creature with red and black accents. Its ears are triangular with dark insides, and it has a large tuft of fur tipped with red on top of its head. It has greenish-blue eyes with red eyelids. There are circular, red markings above the eyes that resemble eyebrows. Its muzzle is short and tapered with two small fangs seen in the upper jaw when its mouth is open. It had a ruff of black fur around its neck and 4 short limbs tipped with red. Its tail is short and bushy. Naruto could only guess that this was another Pokémon, and it looked like it was in pain by the way it was curled up in a ball. "Hey little guy," Naruto said softly, not wanting to startle the creature. The small fox creature instantly looked at Naruto and growled warningly. "Easy, I'm not going to hurt you, I just wanna help," Naruto said while slowly moving his hand towards it, only to instantly pull it back when the Pokémon bit at it. "What do I do?" Naruto wondered, wanting to help, but couldn't if it kept attacking him. Though Naruto got an idea and unsealed some berries he had on hand. "Here you go," Naruto offered, placing the berries on the ground for the Pokémon. The fox looked at the berries warily, sniffing them before eating one. Once it knew they weren't dangerous, the Pokémon devoured the rest of them immediately. "Hungry aren't you? Can I pick you up now? I just want to help," Naruto said, reaching out towards the injured Pokémon again. When the Pokémon didn't try to bite him again, Naruto slowly lifted it up, being careful as he didn't know how injured it was. "I need to get you some help, maybe that professor guy," Naruto muttered before running off towards the lab. Naruto soon reached the lab and immediately knocked on the door. Not a moment later, it was opened by a man wearing a white lab coat. "Yes, can I help you? Is something wrong with your Pokémon?" the man asked, once he spotted the fox Pokémon in Naruto's arms. "It's not mine. I just found it injured and brought it here to get it some help." "Are you Professor Birch?" Naruto asked, with the man nodding in confirmation. "Yes, I'm Professor Birch. Come in, we'll get the little fella all fixed up." "Joshua," Birch called out, with a young man coming out of an adjacent room. "Yes, Professor," asked Joshua. "I need you to tend to this Pokémon, while I speak with this boy," Birch said, with Joshua looking at the injured Pokémon and immediately nodded. "Right away, sir," said the assistant, taking the Pokémon from Naruto and going to see what was wrong with it. "Now then, oh right, I'm Naruto Uzumaki," Naruto said as he introduced himself to the professor. "Well, it's nice to meet you, Naruto. But may I ask why you're here? You don't look like a new trainer and you said that Pokémon wasn't yours. So why are you here?" Birch asked, curious of why Naruto was here. Well you see, that's kind of a long story," Naruto said, before he started telling Birch where he was from, why he was in the server regions, and whatever else seemed important, though he did leave out the QB and anything else that might be rather off-putting. Naruto also gave a demonstration of the wall-walking technique to show he was telling the truth. "Amazing, and you say everyone from these, you called them elemental nations, can access this chakra?" Birch asked in amazement of this discovery. Never in his life did he think he'd learn about an entire continent, where people can command the elements, walk on water and walls, and many other things he thought only possible for Pokémon to do. Sure, he's heard of some people in other regions accessing their own inner aura to do things such as read minds and sense the aura of others or possess psychic abilities. But what Naruto has told him, is something straight out of a fairy tale. "Yeah," Naruto answered. "Just amazing. Well, I'm guessing since you are new to Hoenn and the Pokémon world in the general, you probably don't know much about Pokémon or the other regions. If you'd like, I'd be more than happy to let you use my library to learn everything you need to know about Pokémon and the other regions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me or my assistants, and we'll answer to the best of our abilities," Birch said, with Naruto nodding in thanks. "Thank you, Professor Birch, that's really kind of you," Naruto said, relieved that he'll be able to learn more about this strange new world he's found himself in. Timeskip 1 week. Wow, I never thought this place could be so amazing, Naruto thought, while closing the book he was just reading about Pokémon. A week has passed since Naruto's arrival in Littleroot Town and meeting Professor Birch. Since then, he's begun reading about Pokémon in the Hoenn regions, though he's only read basic stuff and a couple other things, as Naruto wants to experience everything the server regions has to offer firsthand, not from reading about them in books. "Zorua. Oh hey Zorua," Naruto said, looking at the fox Pokémon, who he learned was a Zorua, a Pokémon that wasn't native to Hoenn. After Professor Birch's assistant got the little Pokémon fixed up, it has stuck close to Naruto, having grown attached to the blonde boy, with the feeling being mutual. especially when he learned Zorua was rather mischievous, with its ability to turn into different Pokémon or even people. Zorua, Zorua said, jumping on top of Naruto's shoulder. That was one thing Naruto learned, Pokémon could only say their names to communicate. Naruto hummed in thought, looking at Zorua who tilted its head in confusion. Zorua, you know, I think I've decided what I want to do here, said Naruto. The entire trip from Wave Country to Littleroot Town, Naruto hadn't been sure what he wanted to do, but now he knew what he wanted to do here. His dream of becoming Hokage was gone, as he doubted that he'd receive a warm welcome back in Konoha, and he really had no reason to continue being a ninja. But here in the server regions, no one knew who he was, that he was Jinchuriki. It was a chance to start a new life and have a new dream. And Naruto has just thought of a new dream. He was going to become a Pokémon trainer. Becoming a Pokémon trainer sounds even more fun than being Hokage or being a ninja. Being able to travel across different regions, catching and befriending different Pokémon, challenging gym leaders, and getting the chance to enter the Pokémon League and become champion. Yeah, that sounds like something I'd want to do, Naruto thought, while smiling at the idea. Though he should talk with Professor Birch since he's the one who gives new trainers their starter Pokémon and Pokédex. Getting up, Naruto exited the library with Zorua still sitting on his shoulder, and went to the main lab, where he saw one of Birch's aides. Excuse me, where's Professor Birch? Naruto asked, getting the aide's attention. Oh, the professor went out for some last-minute studying. Though he should be back soon, as I believe we're expecting a new trainer, the daughter of a good friend of the professor's too, said the aide. The moment that was said, the lab door opened and in walked a sheepish Birch and a girl Naruto's age, who looked less than happy, though given the fact her face and hair were soaking wet, that was understandable. Do we even want to know what happened? Naruto asked, while Birch scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Hey, I kind of disturbed some Puccina while out during my research. Thankfully, May here showed up and used one of the starters I had with me to help. Unfortunately, she ended up using Mudkip. Birch answered. Hearing this, the aide chuckled with a sweat drop, knowing that particular Mudkip was a bit of a prankster along with only listening to Birch as well. While the professor and the aide were talking, Naruto approached the girl, May, the professor called her. Hi, I'm Naruto. Naruto said as he introduced himself, holding his hand out while looking May over. May is a slim girl of average height. She has long brown hair with a single fringe at the center with 3 edges secured by a red and white bandana and blue eyes with long eyelashes. She wears a red shirt with a navy blue semicircle on it, a yellow fanny pack, white gloves with navy fingertips, a white mini skirt over dark blue cycle shorts, and black ankle socks along with red shoes with black and yellow stripes. She's kind of cute, Naruto thought, blushing lightly at the thought. May said tersely, still upset over being soaked. Though he's kind of hot, in a wild or bad boy kind of way. May thought, as she looked Naruto over. His spiky blonde hair and whisker marks definitely gave him a wild look. Sorry, I'm just kind of in a bad mood from being soaked by that Mudkip. It's nice to meet you Naruto, said May as she shook Naruto's hand. You too, May. So, you want to become a Pokémon trainer? Naruto asked. Not really actually. I don't really like Pokémon, I'm mostly just becoming a trainer so I can travel and see new places, along with meeting new people. May answered sheepishly, knowing that sounded kind of strange. Someone who didn't like Pokémon becoming a Pokémon trainer, even more so considering her dad as a gym leader. It's fine, I actually kind of relate. See, I've only recently arrived in this part of the world and just learned that Pokémon even exist in the past week. Though, I'm also thinking of entering the Pokémon League. Naruto revealed, causing May to look at him in surprise that he's from somewhere that hasn't heard of Pokémon before. Really? What's your home like? Oh, what kind of clothes do they have, what kind of food? May asked eagerly, leaning in closely to hear about Naruto's homeland. Naruto trailed off, leaning back as May leaned in closer, feeling a little unnerved. May, why don't you go get dried off and then we can get you your starter? Birch said, seeing that Naruto needed some help. Nodding, May headed for the restroom, though the look she gave Naruto showed they weren't done. Later, exiting the bathroom, May sighed in relief at being dried off. Though the moment she stepped out, she stopped when she saw Naruto had changed into a different attire, one more fitting of a Pokémon trainer. Naruto was now wearing a long-sleeved orange and black shirt with a blue collar and rim at the bottom, long black pants that were orange at the bottom, a blue backpack, orange gloves with black knuckles, a black bandana headband with an orange Pokeball design, along with a pair of orange and black slip-on sneakers that were blue at the soles. He also had a belt holding his Pokeballs, along with a Pokédex strapped to it. Oh wow, he really fills out those clothes nicely, Mei thought, blushing at how attractive he looked, though quickly shook it off. So, what starter did you choose? Mei asked. In response, Naruto pulled out one of his Pokeballs and opened it. Out of the ball came Zorua, who retook its position on Naruto's shoulder. Zorua. Huh, what kind of starter is that? Mei asked in confusion, since she was sure the 3 starters were grass, fire, and water types, but this one looked like a dark type. It also didn't look like one from Hoenn. This is Zorua. I found it injured when I arrived in Littleroot and brought it here to be healed. Since then the little guy's kind of grown on me, I made it my first Pokémon, said Naruto, with Zorua grinning and licking Naruto's face. This made Mei smile at how kind and caring Naruto is, helping an injured Pokémon that wasn't his own. Alright Mei, here are the starters you can choose from. The grass-type Trico, the water-type Mudkip, and the fire-type Torchic, Birch said, releasing each of the 3 starter Pokémon. Looking at the 3, Mei shivered seeing Trico, creeped out by the gecko Pokémon. Looking at Mudkip, Mei scowled, remembering her unwilling bath, and instantly walked past it. Finally, she looked at Torchic and the fire type jumped up to Mei and brushed against her legs, making the girl smile. I choose Torchic, Mei said, picking up the fire chick Pokémon. Torchic. Torchic called out happily. Nodding, Birch handed Mei Torchic's Pokeball, while returning Trico and Mudkip to their Pokeballs. Very well, here is your Pokédex and some Pokeballs for your future Pokémon. Also, if you both wish, you can use your Pokédex to check your Pokémon's abilities, genders, and current move sets, said Birch. Nodding, Naruto and Mei both opened their respective Pokédex and scanned their Pokémon. Torchic. Gender, female. Ability, blaze. Moves, scratch, growl, ember. Egg moves, locked, flame burst, feather dance, night slash, baton pass, agility. Zorua. Gender male. Ability, illusion. Moves, scratch, leer, pursuit. Egg moves, locked, dark pulse, extrasensory, sucker punch, copycat. Professor, what are egg moves? Naruto asked in confusion, with Mei also wanting to know. Egg moves are attacks that Pokémon know the moment they hatch from eggs, though they can't use them immediately as they're still babies and need to increase their strength to unlock them, maybe even requiring to evolve before being able to use them. Your Zorua and Torchic appear to have some rather useful egg moves to boot, as well. Birch explained, with Zorua and Torchic puffing out their chests in pride at hearing this. Naruto and Mei were also impressed at the moves and egg moves their Pokémon already knew. Nodding, they closed their respective Pokédex and returned their Pokémon to their Pokéballs. Professor Birch, I wanted to thank you for your hospitality and everything else you've done for me, Naruto said while giving the professor a small bow, which Birch smiled and waved off. No thanks are needed Naruto, I'm always happy to help aspiring trainers. Take care while you're out there, both of you, you never know who or what you'll run into, Birch said. Both Naruto and Mei nodded, before saying their goodbyes and exiting the lab. Hey Naruto, do you think I might be able to travel with you for a while? Mei asked, as she wasn't sure she was ready to travel on her own yet, especially since she wasn't the most knowledgeable about Pokémon. Yeah, it'd actually be pretty nice having a traveling companion, answered Naruto smiling, which Mei returned. Awesome, said Mei, before grabbing her bike outside the lab. With that Mei started riding her bike down Route 101. Looking back, Mei was surprised when she saw Naruto running alongside her. How are you able to run that fast? Mei asked, surprised that he was keeping up with her, while she was on a bike. I'm just a fast runner, Naruto said with a cheeky grin, as they left Littleroot Town. With that, marked the beginning of a new Pokémon journey, and a new friendship also. Hey, wait up, Mei shouted at Naruto as she tried to catch up to him. Huh, said Naruto as he stopped and looked back, only to see Mei running alongside her bike and looking out of breath. Panting, Mei couldn't believe how fast Naruto could run, she even had to get off her bike and push it to try and catch up with him. How can you run so fast? Mei asked in between pants, with Naruto scratching the back of his head sheepishly. Oh, hey. Sorry, I kind of forgot you don't have the same training as me. Naruto said, having been so excited to start his journey, that he forgot Mei wasn't a ninja like him. Training? Questioned Mei, confused at what he meant by that. Yeah, I was a ninja back in my old village. Running fast was kind of required. Naruto answered. You're a ninja? That is so cool. Mei exclaimed in excitement, amazed that her new friend is a ninja. I was, but not anymore. Oh hey, check it out. Naruto said as he quickly changed the subject, given he's still sore about his departure from Konoha and the reasons behind it. What? Mei asked, looking forward and spotting a Pokémon. Awed at how cute it was, Mei pulled out her Pokédex and scanned it. Azurill, the water ball Pokémon. Azurill is able to throw its tail like a lasso, using the momentum to move about. Azurill. Ah, it's so cute, I want it. Mei said, wanting to have such an adorable Pokémon. Then try and catch it. Naruto said, amused at seeing Mei wanting to catch Azurill, just because it's cute. Alright, I'll just grab me a Pokéball and throw it, said Mei as she pulled out one of her Pokéballs. I don't think that's, Naruto tried speaking, only for Mei to throw the Pokéball at the Azurill. The Pokéball bounced on Azurill's head, before the water ball Pokémon was sucked in, causing the Pokéball's button to flash and rattle. Oh yeah, I caught my first Pokémon. Mei cheered, only for her happiness to be cut short when the Pokéball opened up, with Azurill coming out. Hey, what gives? Questioned Mei, confused as to why Azurill broke out of the Pokéball she threw at it. I don't think you're gonna catch it that way, said Naruto as he recalled what he read in Professor Birch's books. Why not? I threw an empty Pokéball at it, Mei said, rounding on Naruto, feeling a bit annoyed. I think you have to battle and weaken it first, then try to catch it. Naruto stated, causing Mei to sweat drop sheepishly since she wasn't aware of that little fact. Right, I know. Time for a Pokémon battle, Mei said as she tried to cover up her little blunder. Then why didn't you do that in the first place? Naruto thought with a sweat drop, having a feeling that Mei didn't really know about that part of catching Pokémon until now. Torchic, I choose you, Mei said as she released the fire type from its Pokéball. Torchic. Now, what are those attacks again? Mei wondered. Suddenly, Torchic ran after Azurill, who was bouncing on its tail to escape. This resulted in Torchic running headfirst into a tree. That wasn't good. Torchic, are you okay? Mei asked, worried for her Pokémon. Azurill. Getting up, Torchic glared at Azurill before running after it. Whoa, Torchic, not so fast. Wait for me, Mei said as she ran after the two, unknowingly abandoning her bike in the process. This isn't going to end well, I just know it, Naruto thought as he immediately took off after them. Torchic chased after Azurill, intent to catch the water Pokémon. However, the chase came to an end when Torchic ended up running headfirst into a rock. Okay, next time, don't do anything until I tell you to, Mei said sternly as she caught up to Torchic and picked it up. Torchic said sadly as it looked like it was about to cry. Hey, what are you cry for? Come on, Mei said, now feeling bad for upsetting her Pokémon. Mei, if you don't hurry, Azurill will get away, Naruto called out, reminding her of the Pokémon she was trying to catch. Huh, Mei said, looking up to see Azurill standing in front of a tree. Alright, Mei said as she set Torchic down. Torchic, use your peck attack, said Mei. Torchic jumped forward, but rather than using peck it used scratch. However, Azurill jumped away with Torchic just scratching the tree. Huh, why didn't Torchic use peck? Mei muttered, confused why her Pokémon didn't use the move she ordered it to use. Mei, Torchic doesn't know peck yet, said Naruto, causing the red-cladded trainer to smack her forehead for forgetting that. Dang it, over there Torchic, Mei said as she saw Azurill starting to get away again. Torchic immediately ran after Azurill again. Finally losing its temper, Torchic used Ember on where Azurill had jumped off and heard it cry out. Torchic cried as it looked pleased at finally managing to hit the wild Pokémon. However, when Torchic looked through the bushes, it paled when it saw it also hit a Marill and a Azumarill. Torchic. Torchic. May called out, seeing her starter facing against 3 Pokémon now. Azurill, Marill, and Azumarill all unleashed a triple water gun attack at Torchic, causing the fire chick closing its eyes in fear. But the attack never came as Naruto jumped in front of Torchic taking the water gun attacks, while letting out a grunt in pain at being hit by 3 blasts of pressurized water. Beat it, Naruto said as he glared up at the 3 Pokémon, while using some of the Kyuubi's chakra, turning his eyes red with slit pupils, adding to the intimidation factor. The water Pokémon shook in fear at the glare, before immediately running off. Naruto. Thank you for protecting Torchic. May said, grateful that her Pokémon wasn't hurt. No problem. Naruto said, thankful that May didn't see his eyes turn red from the Kyuubi's chakra. But how did you manage to scare them off? Asked May. It's an intimidation tactic I learned from being a ninja. Naruto answered, remembering the first time he experienced killing intent was against Zabuza. May was amazed at learning more about her friend and couldn't help but wonder what else he knew. Her attention was then turned back to Torchic and picked up her Pokémon. Torchic, are you okay? May asked, worried if Torchic had been injured. Torchic muttered as it looked down, sad that it couldn't help its trainer catch a Pokémon. You look alright, but I just want to be sure, said May as she looked over the fire chick. Don't worry May, once we get to a Pokémon Center, we can have Torchic looked at. Naruto said with a smile, as he placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Well, what are we waiting for, let's go. May said as she returned Torchic to its Pokeball before taking off in the direction of Oldale town, wanting to make sure Torchic was alright. Later, running down the road, May looked at Torchic's Pokeball in worry, wanting to hurry and get to the Pokémon Center to have it looked over. I wonder what all those rocks are for. Naruto wondered out loud, getting May's attention. Looking up, May saw several large rock pillars surrounding some old-looking buildings. It looks like a bunch of old buildings, Naruto. May said as they moved in to get a closer look. Actually, these are the ruins of Oldale. Someone said, getting the 2 preteens' attention and saw it was a man with spiky brown hair and wearing beige-colored clothes. I'm Professor Alden and I'm here investigating them, introduced Alden. Hey, my name's Naruto. Naruto replied with a grin. And I'm May, hello. May added with a smile of her own. Nice to meet you Naruto, May. If you don't mind me asking, where are you 2 off to in such a hurry? Asked Alden. We're trying to find the Pokémon Center, answered Naruto. Oh, well you're in luck. The Pokémon Center is just over this hill, Alden said as he pointed in the direction where the Pokémon Center was, much to Naruto and May's relief. Really, that's great thank you, Naruto said. Thanks a bunch, said May, as they both ran past Alden to the Pokémon Center. Later Pokémon Center. Nurse Joy, can you please help my Torchic? May asked as she and Naruto ran up to the counter. No problem, let's see now, said Nurse Joy, placing the Pokeball in a machine to check Torchic's condition. Does it look okay in there? May asked, concerned for the well-being of her Pokémon. One more second, Torchic's fine. A good night's sleep is all your Torchic needs, Nurse Joy said with a kind smile. Thank goodness, May said, relieved that her Torchic was fine. Feeling better now May? Asked Naruto. May answered with a nod. I think a good night's sleep would do you both some good, as well. Nurse Joy added as she smiled at them, with the new trainers nodding in agreement. Once they had been given a room, Naruto went to get registered for the Hoenn League, getting his badge case for when he challenges the gym leaders. He and May then went to check their room and saw it had 2 bunk beds. Wow, not too shabby, May said, looking at the room. Yeah, said Naruto as he gave a nod in agreement, since this was his first time staying at a Pokémon Center and was surprised by the room. When they finished settling in the room, they went back to the main building, only to see a bunch of trainers. Wonder what all these trainers are here for, Naruto asked as he looked around. I don't know, let's ask someone, said May. Nodding in agreement, the 2 went up to one of the trainers. Excuse me, but what are all these trainers doing here? Naruto asked, getting the trainer's attention. Oh, you two must be new, am I right? The trainer asked with a kind smile, causing Naruto and Mei to nod in confirmation. Well, this is the lobby, every Pokémon Center has one. It's where trainers that stay here can meet up and share information. Explained the trainer. Yeah, like where the malls are, where the best places to eat are, and what the best clothes are. Things like that, Mei asked in excitement, causing Naruto and the trainer to sweat drop while chuckling sheepishly in good nature. I think he means they discuss Pokémon and training, Mei, said Naruto. Yeah, I'm guessing you both have just started as Pokémon trainers, right? He asked. That's right, we just got our starters and I just registered for the Hoenn League. Replied Naruto. Well, good luck to you both. Who knows, maybe we'll get to battle one day, said the trainer, smiling before waving as he walked away. I heard there's a new gym leader over at the Petalburg gym. Huh, Naruto said, looking over to see two trainers sitting and talking. Oh no, Mei thought as she heard what they were talking about. Are you sure? Yeah. Hey, would you be able to tell me who the new gym leader is? Naruto asked, eager to find out who this new gym leader is, given he'll likely be challenging them one day. However, before either could answer him, Mei suddenly grabbed his arm and pulled him away. Cool it, Naruto, Mei said, not wanting him to find out the Petalburg gym leader is her dad. Wah Mei, why'd you do that? I was just about to learn who the Petalburg gym leader was. Naruto said with a frown at being literally pulled away from the conversation. Can't you tell I'm starving, after all that running you made me do to keep up with you? Said Mei, smiling as she changed the subject. As if on K, both their stomach growled, and while Mei was embarrassed by this, she's also thankful as it helped divert Naruto's attention away from learning who the new gym leader is. I guess you're right and I'm kind of hungry myself. Naruto agreed. Though he was still curious as to why she stopped him from learning who the Petalburg gym leader was. Did she know the gym leader or something? Later, Zorua cried as it eagerly dug into its meal, while Naruto and Mei did the same. These centers are really great, all this delicious food and it's all for free. Mei said with a bright smile. Yep, but don't forget it's for the trainers who stay here and after a long day of training. Naruto said as he finished another bowl of ramen, thankful that the center had it. You really like ramen, don't you? Stated Mei as she looked at the other 5 bowls he's already eaten. Yeah, but it's still not as good as Ichiraku's. That place has the best ramen. Naruto said with a bright smile. Is it really that great? Mei asked, while Naruto looked down as his expression turned solemn. Yeah, it is, answered Naruto as his mind went to Kyuki and Ayame, wondering if they were okay after the invasion. Hey Naruto, Mei, said Professor Alden as he walked up to them, with his own dinner in hand. Huh, oh Professor Alden, hey. Naruto said, waving to him with a smile. Glad to see you both made it here. Do you mind if I join you? Alden asked with the two shaking their heads, letting the professor join them. So, what exactly are you doing in Oldale town? Mei asked after finishing another bite of her dinner. I'm an archaeologist, you see. I've set up a base here in Oldale to study the Oldale ruins. If you want, I can show you what I have so far. Alden offered with a kind smile. That'd be great, thank you Professor, said Naruto in excitement at seeing what he had discovered. Normally he wouldn't be interested in boring stuff like this, but after arriving in the regions of Server, Naruto was eager to learn all that he could about them. Later, are these the ruins we passed by earlier today? Naruto asked while looking at a picture of the Oldale ruins. That's right. And luckily for me, the Pokémon Center was generous enough to let me use this room while I continue my research on those ruins. There's even a legend about the ruins, of a stone chamber deep within the ruins that acts as a portal between our world and the ancient Pokémon world. Alden explained. Wow, Mei said, amazed by this. Unfortunately, because of the way the ruins are constructed, any attempts to enter the chamber causes it to begin crumbling, so its contents remain unknown. Alden admitted. What do you mean by ancient Pokémon? Asked Naruto, having learned of fossil Pokémon when he was studying at Professor Birch's lab. Well Naruto, I don't mean extinct Pokémon like Aerodactyl and Kabuto. I mean ancient Pokémon that have lived since ancient times, without changing at all. Alden clarified. Wow, that's so cool. Naruto as he imagined seeing Pokémon that have been alive since ancient times and remained the same. Most of the details involving ancient Pokémon, like where they lived and how they lived, are still a complete mystery to the world. It's the mystery that makes it all so fascinating, said Alden. Huh, guess there's more to Pokémon than I thought, Mei said with a smile, liking how she's enjoying learning more about Pokémon than she thought she would. Wow, ancient Pokémon. How cool would it be to meet one? Naruto said in excitement. You may just get the chance, Naruto, Alden said as he held up a stone table. The correct way to enter the chamber is written right here, on this tablet, said Alden. Really? Asked Naruto eagerly. Let's go then, said Mei, while not as eager as Naruto, was still excited at the idea of meeting ancient Pokémon. Easy, there are still 4 keys that need to be found, so I'm afraid we have to wait just a little bit longer, Alden told them as he smiled in amusement at how eager they are. Unknown to the 3, they were being watched by 5 people wearing matching red and black uniforms. Professor Alden sighted, said a female that is wearing heat vision goggles. Good, then let's begin, said a male, that was obviously the leader of the group. Right, the last 3 said as they gave a nod in confirmation. Meanwhile, back in Alden's room, Naruto and Mei were still excited about seeing the ancient Pokémon. I hope we find those keys soon, Naruto said. Before anything else could be said, the lights suddenly went off, much to the 3's confusion. What the why did the lights go out? Mei asked, before they all heard the door being opened. Looking over at the now open door, they saw 3 people wearing red and black uniforms and 3 armored Houndoom. What is the meaning of this? Alden demanded, wondering who these people were, while the Houndoom started growling. Professor Alden, we would like you to accompany us on a little journey to the Oldale ruins, one of the people said, his tone making it clear that it wasn't a request. I will not, Alden denied. While he didn't know who these people were, he knew they weren't good people just from their looks alone. However, the choice was taken out of his hands when they all heard Nurse Joy. I'm sorry, Professor Alden, when the power went out, Nurse Joy said, seeing the intruders, and was grabbed by another one from behind. Well now, Professor, would you like to change your mind? The same intruder said menacingly, now that they had a hostage. Yes, alright, I'll go with you, Alden said, not wanting anyone to get hurt. Unknowingly, Alden also stopped Naruto, who was reaching for the storage seal containing his kunai and shuriken. Later. Ow, Mei said as she was thrown into the storage room, along with Naruto and Nurse Joy. Growling in anger, Naruto banged on the door, wishing he could his hands on those bastards. What do those guys even want? Mei asked as she got back up on her feet. To get inside the chamber under the Oldale ruins, I bet, Nurse Joy guessed. Do you know who those people are, Nurse Joy? Naruto questioned. Given the uniforms they were wearing and how they likely planned this, along with those glowing goggles they were wearing, Naruto guessed they might be part of a larger organization. No, I don't, but I'm sure they caused that blackout by cutting the power to the center. Oh no, without power all the Pokémon being treated are in danger, Nurse Joy said, now worried for the Pokémon that were being taken care of. Wait, does that mean Torchic and all the other Pokémon are in trouble? Mei asked, scared for her Torchic. We have to switch to our reserve power, right away, Nurse Joy said. Damn those guys, Naruto thought as he clenched his fist at the idea of them putting so many innocent Pokémon in danger like that. We'll have to get out of here first. And I think I have a way, Naruto said as he pulled out an explosive tag and slapped it right onto the door. Both of you might want to step back, said Naruto, with Mei and Nurse Joy doing just that, not sure what he was about to do. Naruto channeled just enough chakra into the explosive tag and stepped back as it detonated, creating a hole big enough for them to get through. Come on, let's go. And sorry about the door, Naruto said, climbing through the hole before helping the girls through. No worries, you probably just saved the Pokémon, Nurse Joy said, while shocked at what she just saw. She was more grateful at being able to turn the power back on. Was that another of your ninja tricks? Mei asked. Yeah, it was, answered Naruto. Nurse Joy, we're going after those guys that took Professor Alden, will you be alright here? Naruto asked. Yes, please hurry and make sure Professor Alden is safe, said Nurse Joy. Nodding, Naruto and Mei immediately ran out of the Pokémon Center and headed for the Oldale ruins. Look, there they are, Naruto said, upon seeing a helicopter flying off. Damn it, they got away. Naruto thought as he glared angrily at the helicopter that those bastards got away in. Professor, are you alright? Naruto asked as they saw Alden on the ground. Huh, yes, I'm fine. Those people didn't do anything and thankfully didn't take anything from the ruins, or find what they were looking for, whatever that is. Alden said, before showing them 4 balls. One good thing, is they already collected the 4 keys to the chamber. Now to put them back where they belong. Alden said as they all entered the chamber and he placed the keys in the large stone block in the chamber. There we go, back where they belong, said Alden. Naruto and Mei nodded in agreement. It was then the 3 noticed light coming into the chamber. Looking, they saw the sun was coming up. The sun's coming up, Naruto said, surprised it was already morning. Morning already, said Mei, also surprised since she didn't think that they were trapped for that long. Just then, their attention was grabbed when they saw the 4 keys light up and a glowing light spread throughout the chamber, running along the lines on the wall. To their amazement, the stone block slid along the floor, revealing a hidden stairwell. What's this? Alden wondered in amazement, with Naruto and Mei also being surprised and amazed at what just happened. Come on, let's take a look, said Alden. Nodding in agreement, the 3 made their way down the stairs, soon entering a large underground cavern with a lake. An enormous underground water supply. Alden stated in amazement at what he was seeing. It smells so fresh and clean too, added Mei, with Naruto nodding at seeing how clean the water looked. I wonder if it leads out to the sea, said Alden. Before anything else could be said, a medium-sized fish-like Pokémon jumped out of the water. It is covered with hard, brown scales that are similar to craggy rocks. Its tan head has protruding cheekbones, which are smaller on a female that jumped out not long after. A triangular spike protrudes from the back of its head. Tan patches cover its body and there is a red spot located on both sides. It possesses 2 pairs of pectoral fins, which it uses to push itself along the sea bottom. Additionally, it has dorsal and pelvic fins near its tail. Its tail fin has a wavy outline. Amazing, the ancient Pokémon, Relicanth, Alden said, amazed at seeing the ancient Pokémon in person. Relicanth, Naruto asked as he looked at the rock Pokémon in the water. It is true, these ruins are a portal to the present and the past, said Alden. Maybe not in the literal sense, but this chamber has likely been untouched since the ruins were built. After looking around the chamber a little more, they all headed back to the Pokémon Center, with Naruto and Mei deciding to stay a little longer, given they didn't get any sleep. Timeskip 2 days. 2 days have passed since the incident at the Oldale ruins. The next morning Nurse Joy returned Torchic, who was back in perfect health, while Naruto and Mei stayed another night to rest from the events of the previous day. Now Naruto and Mei were walking down Route 102, heading for Petalburg City. Though Naruto stopped when he saw a Pokémon step out onto the path. It is a humanoid Pokémon with a white body. It has thin arms and legs that widen toward the feet. There is a wispy extension trailing off the back of its feet, creating the overall impression of a nightgown or oversized dress. Most of its face is covered by green hair that resembles a bowl cut. There are 2 flat, red horns on top of its head, a large one toward the front and a smaller one at the back. Hey, look at that Pokémon, Naruto said. Hey, I think that's a Ralts, said Mei, remembering all the different Pokémon her brother always talked about. Cool, I'm gonna catch it, said Naruto as he pulled out Zorua's Pokéball, eager to catch his first Pokémon. Let's go Zorua, Naruto said, releasing Zorua from its Pokéball. Zorua, Ralts. Ralts looked up, hearing Zorua and saw the tricky fox Pokémon standing in front of it. Alright Zorua, use Scratch, Naruto said. Zorua jumped at Ralts as its claws glowed. Ralts's eyes glowed beneath its hair, however nothing seemed to happen as Zorua's Scratch attack hit it straight on, making it cry out in pain. Alright, go Pokéball, Naruto said as he threw an empty Pokéball at Ralts. The Pokéball bounced off Ralts and sucked the Pokémon inside. The Pokéball's button flashed red and rattled a few times before it gave off a ping sound, signaling a successful capture. Alright, I caught a Ralts, Naruto cheered, grabbing the Pokeball and held it up in the air victoriously. Zorua. Zorua jumped around, happy to have helped its trainer and that there was a new Pokémon on the team. Okay Ralts, come on out. Naruto said, letting Ralts out of its new Pokeball. Ralts. Ralts looked up at its new trainer, who knelt down and smiled at it. Hey, sorry for attacking like that, but I really wanted to catch you. Here, this should help you feel better. Naruto said as he pulled out an Oran berry, having collected numerous types of berries while at Professor Birch's lab. Ralts. Ralts took the berry and ate it, feeling its strength being restored. Alright, let's see what there is about you. Naruto said, pulling out his Pokédex and scanning Ralts. Ralts, the feeling Pokémon. Ralts is the pre-evolved form of Kirlia. It can use the horns on its head to read human emotions. Ralts rarely shows itself to humans, but may occasionally approach when it senses positive or happy feelings. Ralts. Gender. Male. Ability. Telepathy. Moves. Growl, confusion. Egg moves, locked, mean look, destiny bond. That's why its attack didn't work. Psychic type moves don't work against dark types. Naruto thought as he looked up from his Pokédex and placed it back on his belt. Returning both of his Pokémon to their Pokéballs, Naruto turned to Mei and smiled widely. Come on Mei, we're almost to Petalburg City and my first gym battle. Naruto said as he felt excited for his first gym battle. Though in the back of his mind, he still remembered those guys from the Pokémon Center. And something told Naruto, they haven't seen the last of them either. So, what did you think? Good. Yep, Naruto and Mei arrived in Oldale town, meet Professor Alden, and have their first encounter with Team Magma. Not only that, but Naruto has also caught his first Pokémon, a Ralts, and as it is a male Ralts he'll eventually have a Gallade. Now this isn't the end of chapter, as from this chapter onward I'll be putting omakes in showing some of the adventures of the other ninja that have gone to server, think of it like Pokémon Chronicles. The first omake will have Orochimaru setting up base, or should I say taking over a base. Omake. A snake in Unova. The Unova Team Rocket base was in a state of panic. Not a moment ago, they had been attacked by an unknown group of people that just showed up and started killing everyone. Dr. Zager ran alongside Pierce to the communication room. They had to get word to the rest of Team Rocket about this attack. Reaching the communication room, Zager prepared to contact Giovanni and tell him about this attack, while hopefully having reinforcements sent, should they have any psychic-type Pokémon that were strong enough to make the trip. However, before he could get the call though, a giant snake shot out of the hallway and wrapped around Zager before tearing his throat out, much to Pierce's shock and horror at seeing the doctor die in such a painful way. Did you really think you were going to escape? Orochimaru said as he and Kabuto stepped out of the shadows. You're the ones behind this. You made a mistake attacking us and crossing Team Rocket. Your days are numbered, Pierce said, glaring at the Sannin. We're quaking in our boots. Kabuto deadpanned, while Orochimaru vanished in a burst of speed much to Pierce's shock. Pierce was further shocked when Orochimaru appeared right in front of him. Though his shock didn't last, when he felt a striking pain in his chest, looking down Pierce saw the sword of Kusanagi impaling him. Bringing the sword in an upward slash, blood sprayed across the Sannin and his blade as Pierce fell to the floor, dead as a doornail. Well, that was mildly disappointing, Orochimaru said as he flicked the blood off his sword. Kabuto, have the others start disposing of the bodies and get this place cleaned up. Orochimaru said. Hi Orochimaru-sama. Later. While the people here are hardly anything special, aside from the few that possess this aura or psychic powers, these Pokémon are truly fascinating creatures. Kabuto said as he looked through all the research and information on Pokémon. It was truly amazing, all the different types of Pokémon, the moves they could use, the abilities they possessed, along with the legendary and mythical Pokémon. Yes, I never thought I'd see the day where there were creatures that surpassed the tailed beasts in power, said Orochimaru, looking over what little information there was on the legendary Pokémon. Should we try tracking them down, Orochimaru-sama? Kabuto asked, only for Orochimaru to shake his head. No, the sightings of these legends are few and far between. It'll be a miracle if we so much as caught a glimpse of one. For now, we'll simply study these Pokémon to see what we can learn about them, said Orochimaru. While it would be good to get his hands on one of these legendary Pokémon, Orochimaru doubted he'd have a way to subdue or contain them. And frankly, he had no desire to bring down the wrath of what equates to living deities, in some cases concerning certain Pokémon. Better to simply study them from afar and not risk angering them. Of course, there's also the matter of young Naruto, thought Orochimaru. He had one of his agents swipe the ship log from Wave Country and discovered Naruto's ship had taken him to the Hoenn region. Orochimaru and his followers were currently in the Unova region, one that is rather far off from Hoenn. While the Sannin knows Naruto was likely a long way off from his arrival point, he'd still rather not risk the chance of Danzo or the Akatsuki managing to find him. Kabuto, bring me to Yuya, Kimimaro and Gurren, as well as Yukimaru. Orochimaru ordered to his second-in-command. Later, you summoned us Orochimaru-sama. Kimimaro said as he kneeled before the Sannin with Yuya and Gurren beside him, with the only one not bowing being Gurren's ward, Yukimaru. Yes, I'm sending you four to the Hoenn region on a long-term mission. Your mission is to track down Naruto Uzumaki. Orochimaru said. To capture or to kill? Kimimaro asked. Neither. You are just to observe him and report back to me of what he's doing. Do not reveal yourselves, unless he becomes aware of you following him or if anyone else from the elemental nations attacks him. Orochimaru said, knowing if Naruto was aware his subordinates were following him, he'll become aware that Orochimaru himself is in server, and the Sannin would prefer keeping his presence hidden for as long as possible, at least until he set up a more stable base of operations. You all will leave when you're ready, and take some Pokeballs with you to catch any Pokémon you see and want. And try not to draw attention to yourselves, only use Jutsu as a last resort. Said Orochimaru, wanting to them all to blend in with the locals and keeping a low profile, meaning no chakra unless they had no other choice. Hi Orochimaru-sama. Kimimaro, to Yuya, and Gurren said, before all four of them left to prepare for their mission. Are you sure it was wise sending those three? Kabuto asked. Given Kimimaro and Gurren were fanatically loyal to Orochimaru and didn't allow anyone to speak ill of him, while Yuya was known for her temper, he felt they weren't the best choices to track down and observe Naruto. Yes, they'll be sure to follow my orders to the letter and are among my most normal-looking subordinate, so that'll help them with blending in, plus, they don't attack people for their own amusement, only when provoked. Said Orochimaru, feeling they were the best choices, especially since most of his other followers were quite sadistic and wouldn't hesitate to kill someone for the fun of it. Now it was just a matter time for their report, and in the meantime, Orochimaru may consider catching his own Pokémon. I wonder what type of snake-like Pokémon there are. Wondered the Sannin. Alright Ralts, use confusion on those rocks and Zorua use pursuit to destroy them. Said Naruto. Ralts. Ralts lifted its arms as several large rocks to float in the air, with a blue glow surrounding them. Zorua. Zorua launched itself at the rocks, surrounded by a dark aura and smashed through them. Yes, way to go you two. Naruto said as he smiled at his Pokémon, who jumped around happily. A week has passed since Naruto managed to catch Ralts. Since then, he and May have been traveling to Petalburg City, with Naruto's also encountered other trainers and battled against them along the way. With him winning some battles, while losing others. Though Naruto didn't let the losses get to him, since they just inspired him to get stronger. He's also started training Zorua and Ralts in increasing their strength, speed, agility, defense, and attack power. While also mastering the moves they already know, using some tips he got from the trainers at the Pokémon Center and on the road. And the training was showing, as Zorua and Ralts have grown much stronger than before. Hey Naruto. Come on, we're almost to Petalburg City. May said, knowing they were close to her home city. While she'd prefer to hold off on Naruto finding out her father is the Petalburg gym leader, she knew he wouldn't be deterred from getting there. Really? Great, come on you two, it's almost time for our first gym battle. Naruto said as he returned Zorua and Ralts to their Pokeballs, wanting to get them looked at when they reached a Pokémon Center. My first gym battle, I can't wait. Naruto thought excitedly. Later Petalburg City. Exiting the Pokémon Center, Naruto and May headed to a nearby park, with Naruto taking in the sights of Petalburg City. It was surprising to see how big it was, when compared to Littleroot Town and Oldale Town. With Zorua and Ralts both back at full strength, Naruto wanted to get to the Petalburg gym. But he decided to stop for a moment, given the fact that he still didn't know anything about the Petalburg gym leader, or even what type of Pokémon he uses. I wonder what the Petalburg gym leader is like. Naruto wondered out loud. I'm sure he's a nice guy, answered Mei, knowing the kind of person her father is. What? Mei, do you know him? Naruto asked in surprise, since he didn't even know the Petalburg if the gym leader was a guy or a girl. Me. Well, I don't really know him that well. The word on the street is that he's very kind, but also very strong. And of course, I hear he's very handsome and a really great man. Mei said as she happily talked about her father, even if Naruto didn't know that's who she's talking about. Sounds like you know him pretty well, Naruto stated with narrowed eyes and rubbing his chin. This solidified Naruto's guess that she knew the gym leader personally, given how she stopped him from learning about the guy, back in Oldale town. Well, I don't know him all that well, Mei said, waving it off with a sheepish chuckle. No, you definitely know who the gym leader is, given the way to talk about him. Along with the fact that you stopped me from learning about him back in Oldale town. In fact, I think you know the gym leader personally, Naruto said, with Mei sweating nervously at Naruto figuring out that Norman is her father. However, Naruto's next words both relieved and mortified Mei at the same time. Mei, is the gym leader your boyfriend? Naruto asked. Hearing that, Mei immediately face faulted before jumping to her feet with her face burning red. No, he isn't my boyfriend, you idiot. Mei shouted in embarrassment and mortification that Naruto believed that Norman is her boyfriend. She was nearly tempted just to tell him that the Petalburg gym leader is her father. Then how do you know him so well? Questioned Naruto. It's just some stuff I heard about him. Anyways, I need to go and take care of a few things, Mei said, immediately running to her family's home, both to see her parents and brother again, along with calming her nerves after what Naruto just said. Watching Mei leave, Naruto shook his head as he smirked and chuckled to himself. He's so her boyfriend, Naruto muttered to himself, before walking off towards the Petalburg gym. Later, the Petalburg gym, Naruto said as he stared at the gym, which looked a lot like a dojo. Entering the gym, Naruto walked down the hall and soon found the room with the battlefield. Hello, anyone here? I'm here to challenge the gym leader, Naruto said as he looked around, but didn't see anyone. Hello, Naruto called out. Can you please keep it down? I'm right in the middle of watching a documentary on the Alola region, someone said. Huh, said Naruto, looking to see who it was. It was a small young boy. He has short, black hair and brown eyes, much like his father. He wears a money green colored t-shirt with a white collar and button, charcoal colored shorts and green, black and white slip-on shoes without socks. He also wears black, framed half-moon glasses. He was also carrying a book under his arm. Oh, sorry kid. I'm here to challenge the gym leader, Naruto said, while scratching the back of his head sheepishly. Well then you found him, said the kid, pushing his glasses up and making the light reflect off them. What? Asked Naruto, sweat dropping at the boy's claim. Yep, that's right. I'm Max, the Petalburg gym leader, said Max as he ran up onto the battlefield. Naruto's sweat dropped again at hearing this. Who was this kid trying to fool? He was a ninja and a master prankster, with him even managing to fool Anbu for Kami's sake. But if the kid wants to play, we'll play, Naruto thought, smirking at the idea of pull a prank of his own after so long. Okay then, let's battle, Naruto said, with Max blinking at that. What? Max asked this time, while starting to sweat a little. You said you're the gym leader and I came here to battle you. So let's battle, said Naruto, pulling out an empty Pokeball and pressing the button, causing it to expand, while acting like it contained a Pokémon. Right now? Max asked with a stutter, worried at how his prank backfired on him like this. Yeah, after all, as a gym leader, I'm sure you have your Pokémon with you at all times, right? Naruto said, smirking at how nicely his counter prank was coming along, and the effect it was having. Right, of course I do, said Max, while sweating nervously since he didn't actually have any Pokémon yet. The two were cut off when they heard giggling outside the window. Looking, They saw Mei's head pop up as she covered her mouth to contain her laughter. Hey, Naruto really got you good, Max, Mei said in between giggles. Hey sis, Max greeted upon seeing his sister. Wait, sister, Naruto said, surprised that Mei and Max were siblings. Well then, who do we have here? A man asked as he appeared besides Mei. Hello, said a woman, appearing on Mei's other side. What? Who are you? Asked Naruto, even more confused at the sight before him. Later, Naruto, I'd like you to meet my mother and father, Mei said as she introduced her parents to her friend. I'm Norman, pleased to meet you, Naruto, said Norman. And I'm Caroline, a pleasure, Caroline greeted. And this is my little brother, said Mei, as she motioned to Max. Yeah, we met, the famed Petalburg gym leader, Naruto said as he smirked at Max, who chuckled sheepishly. Actually my dad is the real gym leader, Max said, with Naruto blinking at that. Oh, so I guess the gym leader really isn't your boyfriend after all, Mei, said Naruto. Mei covered her face in embarrassment that he was still on about that, while her parents laughed in good nature, with Max looking at Mei like she's crazy. What kind of mixed signals were sending, that made him come up with that conclusion, Mei? Max asked with a raised eyebrow. Then again, this was Mei he's talking about. In response, Mei bopped her brother lightly on the head, causing Max to grab his head and look to his parents with tear-filled eyes. Mom, Dad, Mei's being mean to me, Max said, crying, only for everyone to see through his crocodile tears. No one's buying it, kid, Naruto said, with Max's tears instantly vanishing as he gave a shrug. Yeah, that act was getting kind of old anyway, admitted Max, as he gave a nonchalant shrug. Naruto, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you earlier about my father being the Petalburg gym leader. But I didn't want you to see me as just the gym leader's daughter. Though, it probably would have saved me the humiliation from before, said Mei, while muttering the last part to herself. She's just thankful that no one heard Naruto's earlier accusation, and started any rumors. Like Konohamaru, Naruto thought, remembering how everyone only saw him as the Sandame's grandson. Don't worry, Mei, I wouldn't have cared if the gym leader was your grandmother, Naruto told Mei with a comforting grin. Though he soon realized how it came out and started stuttering. It only worked with Konohamaru, since he was still a little brat at the time. Thankfully, Mei and Caroline just giggled, while Norman and Max chuckled lightly. It's fine, we get what you mean. And thanks, it really means a lot, Mei said thankfully, while looking away with a light blush on her face as she said that. By the way, dear, what happened to your bike? Caroline asked, having not seen Mei with it when she came home. Oh no, I must have left it behind, Mei said, remembering she had been in such a rush to make sure Torchic was okay, that she completely forgot her bike back on Route 101. Oh well, it's okay, bikes are replaceable. By the way, Mei, what Pokémon did you get from Professor Birch? Norman asked, curious of which starter his daughter picked. Yeah, come on, Mei, which Pokémon did you get? Max asked, eager to see the Pokémon his sister picked out. You'll see, Torchic, come on out, said Mei, letting Torchic out of its Pokeball. Torchic, what? Why'd you pick that? If it were me, I definitely would have picked a Trico, Max said, feeling disappointed when he saw Torchic. Feeling its eyes twitch, Torchic jumped up and started scratching Max's faces. Torchic. Wait, Torchic, stop that, Mei said as she saw Torchic scratching Max up. I think Torchic is a fine Pokémon to start out with, Norman said, knowing when Torchic evolves into Combusken and Blaziken it'll become a fighting type, while also having access flying type attacks and various other great coverage moves also. Not to mention, that if Mei manages to get a Key Stone and a Blazikenite Mega Stone, she'll be able to use Mega Evolution. And it's as cute as a button, Mei, Caroline said as she cooed at the sight of her daughter's starter Pokémon. Yeah, Mei said in agreement, since that was why she picked Torchic. Man, I just wish that I could have my own Pokémon. I'd just love to have a Trico, Max said, ignorant of the glare Torchic was giving him before jumping on top of him and began scratching him again. Torchic, chic. Let this be a lesson, Max, never insult a Pokémon, no matter how small, Naruto thought. Naruto, why don't you join us for lunch? You must be starved, Caroline offered. Thanks, that'd be really great, said Naruto, accepting their hospitality. Later. So Naruto, May tells us you just started your journey. Caroline said. Yeah, I just registered for the Hoenn League in Oldale town. I was actually hoping to challenge Norman for my first gym battle. If that's alright with you, sir. Naruto said, while looking at Norman. Of course, Naruto, and you said this will be your first gym battle, right? Asked Norman, as he accepted the former shinobi's challenge. Yes. So, what are the Petalburg gym rules? Asked Naruto. It's a 3-on-3 elimination battle. First one to defeat all 3 Pokémon wins. Max answered, with Naruto looking surprised at this. What, is that true? Naruto asked as he turned back towards the gym leader. Yes, Norman replied. Naruto's head slumped forward hearing this. Aw man, I only have 2 Pokémon. Naruto said, knowing he couldn't battle Norman if he didn't have 3 Pokémon. Wait, you only have 2 Pokémon. Then why were you going to accept my challenge back at the gym? Questioned Max. Oh, I knew you weren't the gym leader. I just wanted to see how far you'd take your prank, while also getting you with a prank of my own. Naruto said with a smirk, as he remembered at how he got Max by turning his own prank on him. Max slumped forward at this, depressed that Naruto had seen through his prank. Well since you came all this way, I could still battle you. Norman offered with a kind smile. What, really? Naruto asked hopefully. That's kind of you Norman, said Caroline, smiling at her husband. Of course, it won't be a registered gym battle, said Norman. That's okay. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Naruto said, happy that he'll still get to battle the gym leader, even if he won't be able to get a badge. Once they finished lunch the family plus Naruto headed back to the battle arena, where Naruto and Norman stood on opposite sides of the arena. Okay, I'm ready, Naruto said while pulling out Zorua's Pokeball. Alright then, Slakoth, I choose you, Norman said, throwing the Pokeball to the arena. Out of the Pokeball came a rather lazy-looking Pokémon. It is a brown, quadruped Pokémon with sloth-like qualities. It has coarse, shaggy fur with 2 dark brown stripes on its back. There is a scruff of fur on top of its head, and it has a large, pig-like pink nose, pink eyelids, and dark rings around its eyes. It has long, lanky arms but shorter legs. Each paw has 2 sharp claws, and there are pink paw pads on the back feet. Its underbelly and red are also pink. Pulling out his Pokédex, Naruto saw what kind of Pokémon it was. Slakoth, the slacker Pokémon. Slakoth is generally found sleeping and very few ever witness it in motion. Looking at what information was available to him, due to Slakoth not being his Pokémon, Naruto frowned when he saw that Slakoth only has one ability, Truant, meaning it'll only attack every other turn. Naruto would have thought Norman was underestimating him, but remembered Norman is a gym leader and would give it his all, even against a rookie trainer and in an unofficial gym battle. Okay, Zorua, I choose you, said Naruto while throwing the Pokeball as Zorua came out. Zorua. Norman was surprised and intrigued at seeing Zorua, since it wasn't a Pokémon that is native to the Hoenn region. Alright Zorua, use Scratch, Naruto said. Zorua charged at Slakoth with its claws glowing. Slakoth dodge and use Blizzard, said Norman. SLA. Slakoth jumped into the air with surprising speed, before opening its mouth and unleashed a blizzard that hit Zorua dead on. Zorua shivered and grunted in pain from the ice attack. Zorua, Naruto exclaimed in worry for his starter. Slakoth landed on the ground and began scratching its head. Alright, truants kicked in. Now's my chance, thought Naruto. Okay Zorua, use Leer, then use Pursuit, said Naruto. Zorua's eyes glowed red as it glared at Slakoth, who shivered in fear as its defense lowered. Zorua then charged forward with a dark aura surrounding it, tackling Slakoth. Yes, now Zorua use Scratch again, Naruto said, only to see Slakoth's eyes narrow in concentration. Not so fast. Slakoth use Shadow Ball, said Norman. SLA Koth. Slakoth formed a dark ball of energy at Zorua. Zorua quick, dodge it now, Naruto said. Zorua immediately jumped to the side, dodging the attack, and continued running towards Slakoth to attack. Slakoth now use Hidden Power, Norman said before Truant kicked in. Slakoth. Slakoth was surrounded by a white energy, before it created a ring of white circles appeared in its hands. Slakoth threw the ring at Zorua, who was surrounded by the rings, before they closed in on the tricky fox Pokémon, causing an explosion. Zorua, Naruto said in worry at seeing his partner get hit again. Zorua fell to the arena floor with swirls in its eyes. Zorua. Running over to his partner, Naruto picked Zorua up. "Hey Zorua, you alright buddy?" Naruto asked worried. Zorua. Zorua looked down, sad that it had lost the match, though Naruto just smiled and patted its head. "Don't worry about losing, you did your best, okay?" said Naruto. "You're right Naruto. Your Zorua definitely put up a fight," Norman said, while returning Slakoth to its Pokeball. "Thank you, Norman, that means a lot," Naruto said while smiling. He may have lost the match, it was still a fun match and gave Naruto a good idea of what to expect from the other gym leaders. Along with motivating Naruto to increase his Pokemon's training for the next gym battle. Along with catching more Pokemon to help him along the way. Later. "I guess it's time for you two to get going. Do you have everything May?" Caroline asked as she and Norman saw May and Naruto off. "Don't worry Mom, I've got everything I need," said May, before Max suddenly showed up with a backpack. Since May doesn't know anything about Pokemon and Naruto's still a new trainer. "I should go too," Max said, eager to tag along on their journey and see new places, as well as Pokemon. Your brother does know a lot about Pokemon, so it'd be good for him to tag along," Norman said. "And less worrying for me," added Caroline, who felt better if both her children were together, rather than separated. "Naruto, would it be alright if Max traveled along with you and May?" asked Norman. "Yeah, it's fine if Max joins us," Naruto answered, smiling at the idea of having another traveling companion. "Thank you, Naruto," said May, glad her brother was coming along to help, especially since she didn't really know all that much when it came to Pokemon. "This is gonna awesome," Max cheered, excited that he's going to see more of the Hoenn region. "I also have something for you May. A badge case to hold the gym badges that you win," said Norman. He'd give one to Naruto also, but he'd already gotten his case when he registered for the Hoenn League. May took the badge case hesitantly, since she wasn't sure if she was even going to challenge any gym leaders. "And Max, this is for you," Norman said, giving Max a Pokénov. "For me, oh wow," Max said when he saw what it was. "What is it?" Naruto asked. "A Pokémon Navigator. I've been wanting one," Max said, while turning it on. "With one of those, you'll always know exactly where you are," said Norman. "And I'll take good care of it," Max stated, before running off with his new Pokénav. "Naruto, I'd like to suggest that the next gym that you travel to should be Rustboro City," Norman suggested, knowing that'd be the good place to earn his first badge. "Okay, thank you, and I'll be back to challenge you in a real gym battle," Naruto said, with Norman nodding in agreement. "I'll be waiting. Bye Mom, bye Dad," May said while waving farewell to her parents. "Goodbye kids, take care," Caroline said. "Do your best," said Norman. "Hurry up you slowpokes," Max said, eager to get on the road. "We're coming," said Naruto and May, as they ran up to catch up with their newest traveling companion. With that, the three friends headed out of Petalburg City to Rustboro City. "So, what did you think? Good. Yep, Norman used Slakoth instead of Vigoroth, given Naruto's a rookie trainer rather than an experienced one like Ash, and while Naruto managed to get a few hits in thanks to Truant, he still lost. Now Naruto and May are joined by Max and heading to Rustboro City. Now the omake for this chapter will be about Neji, Hinata, and Hanabi heading for Pallet Town to meet with Professor Oak, along with a certain trainer we all know. Omake, two princesses and a freed bird. Walking down a path, Hinata, Hanabi, and Neji had arrived in the Servo regions, specifically the Kanto region, a few days ago and were currently heading for Pallet Town to meet with Professor Oak. "Hinata-sama, Hanabi-sama, I believe we're almost to Pallet Town," Neji said, seeing a town up ahead that he could tell was Pallet Town, from the descriptions they've gotten. They were currently in the forests outside of Celadon City, they just need to traverse to the Viridian Forest through here and then head south to get to Pallet Town. "That's good. Hopefully, there's have a place where we can rest, right Neji?" Hinata said, With Neji nodding in agreement given they've been walking the entire day, given Hanabi was still too young to learn tree hopping. Suddenly though, they saw someone running towards them. It was a young boy, who looked to be around the same age as Hinata, with black hair and brown eyes. He was wearing a red and white cap with a green symbol, a blue jacket with white sleeves, a black shirt underneath, light blue jeans, and black and white sneakers. He also had a small yellow Pokémon on his shoulder, a Pikachu if they remembered correctly. "Excuse me," Neji said, stopping the kid in his tracks. "Oh hey, is there something you guys need?" he asked. "Actually yes, do you know of anywhere we can rest?" Neji asked, with the kid nodding in confirmation. "Yeah, you can stay at the Pokémon Center, it's over in that direction, you can't miss it. Just look for the building with the red P on the front. By the way, I'm Ash Ketchum and this is my partner Pikachu." Ash said as he introduced himself and his partner Pokémon, with Pikachu smiling and saluting the three. "Pikachu. My name is Neji Hyuga, these are my cousins Hinata and Hanabi." Neji introduced. "Nice to meet you three. And sorry, but I really gotta go, I heard an Entei is nearby here. See ya around," Ash said before running past the three Hyugas, who watched him run off. "Neji, isn't Entei a legendary Pokémon?" Hanabi asked as she remembered them reading about the different types of Pokémon, when they arrived in Kanto. "I believe it is," Neji answered. "He must be a really strong trainer, if he's searching for a legendary Pokémon, like Entei," stated Hinata. Nodding in agreement, the three headed for the Pokémon Center to rest for the night, before continuing on their way to Pallet Town to meet Professor Oak.